I'm going to run down. Joe from Queens is with me. My top 10 Bills of all time. And where Josh Allen is on my list may surprise a few people. Also, Joe is in New York City, of course. That's where he lives. The Knicks win the first two games in San Antonio. I kind of feel like Joe has a unique perspective on the bedlam going on right now in New York City. It's wild in an awesome way. So we'll get to that. Plenty more here today on Talking Buffalo, your weekday daily driver for Buffalo Sports Talk and more. My name is Patrick Moran. Thank you so much, as always, for watching, for listening. However, you are taking in this podcast. Appreciate you guys very, very much. Quick shout out to our sponsor, as always, too, the law office of William Mattar. Heard in a car, call William Mattar, 444-4444. Call William Mattar today to get the compensation that you deserve. All right, with me, as always, is Joe from Queens. Before we get into today's episode, for people who are watching on the video side, I kind of need to set the stage a little bit. We're going to have one longer video tonight. On the audio side, we're actually recording two podcasts here back to back. So there's going to be an audio podcast that we're doing right now. Then there'll be another one for Tuesday's show, but there's only going to be one video. So at the very end of this first part of the podcast, we'll just put up a new screen and start it up all over. Tooch, Diamond Pickle, some of the regulars are already starting to file in. Joe from Queens is with me, man. What's going on, dude? How you doing?
I'm doing all right, man. I'm about to crack open a beer. It is called put the full screen on me so everyone can see, because everyone needs to see my beer. It is the Conehead Zero Gravity. It is an IPA. It's from Vermont, I believe it's from. Yes, it's from Vermont. It is 5.7%. It's an IPA, nothing really else. But Zero Gravity is a pretty good brewery. I've had it before. And anything from Vermont is very good. So all you people out there, if you're ever in Vermont, which I know you won't be there because that's too far for you. You'll be in Arkansas probably before you get to Vermont. And, yeah, it's good beer there. So salute.
Joe's Mrs. Joe from Queens is watching the Tonys right now, which, and you know, to be fair, I kind of wish we were watching that as well. Maybe we should have done a watch along.
Live. One day, I really hope one day we do a watch along of something, because that would be awesome. I think people would love that.
Would be we'll test the waters with wrestling. We could do that.
Yeah.
Maybe one day.
We'll watch like the Steve Austin match or something. I don't know, or maybe something from like the NWA. I don't know. So,
Pat, how much vodka do you got in that cup? Actually, I'm not drinking at all, and I'm not hungover either on Sunday like I usually am. I got an old school Bills cup. There's actually just there's soda in there. I went to a collectible store real quick today, and we're going to get into a bunch of things. And again, I hate doing this because the audio people can't see shit. They're listening to the show. But check out this. I think it's a koozie. It's WNSA 107.7 FM.
Oh, wow.
Koozie. Paid a whole $3 for it. There's an antique collectible store at the McKinley Mall, inside the McKinley Mall. The McKinley Mall is run down. It blows. But there's like 4 or 5 stores in there, and one of them
that's cool.
It's called Something in Your Attic. And I get like 90% of the stuff you see on camera, my studio stuff, are all around that you don't see on cameras on there. I bought a 6-pack of Bills cards for $2. And check this out, man. These are old school Bills cards. They're the Coca-Cola series from back in the day. There's a John Fina, a Kenneth Davis. What else we got here? Pete Metzelaars, Bill's best tight end ever, huh? Your boy, Phil Hansen. Yeah, I know you're a big Phil Hansen guy.
He should definitely not be on the Wall of Fame, I'll tell you that much.
Billy Brooks. Billy Brooks in the house.
Great 95 season. Bill Brooks was money. Go ahead.
Last but not least, Marcus Patton. Marcus spelled with a V. Marcus Patton. Pretty dope set.
Do you want me to give you like a quick history on all those players just briefly? So Marvelous Marcus Patton, he was the guy, they put him at outside linebacker in 92. That's when they moved Bennett to the inside because they had to get Patton on the field, which I never liked Bennett being in the inside. I always hated it, but every couple of years they would do that. And Patton was on the outside, and then they moved him back in the inside, and then he left, I think, after the 95 season. I think he went to, or not 94 season. I think he went to Kansas City is where he went to. And you'll never forget Bill Brooks, his '95 season. I think he owned the club record for most touchdowns in the season for receptions.
Yeah,
But
he did.
yeah, cool. Did he
Pretty good.
still own it or no? Or did Diggs
Diggs
break it?
broke it. I'm pretty
Diggs
sure
broke
Diggs
it.
broke it. Yeah,
Okay,
I'm
yeah.
pretty sure that Diggs broke it.
Mhm.
We're gonna get to a lot of stuff today, and like I said, this will kind of be condensed because we're gonna do two things at once. And look, I also know that we're in the beginning of June, and this is like kind of dead season right now for sports
Can
content.
I?
It's just it. Go ahead.
I'm already commandeering this show, so my
I guess.
apologies. Yeah, you know what? I was kind of jealous a little bit of you because
Why?
Podfather did some series where he asked like all the content bros about their top 10 Bills like players this
It,
season or something.
it was top 10 players that are critical to this future of the Buffalo Bills. It's an
Okay,
annual series he does. Yeah.
and he asked you, correct?
Yeah.
You sure he didn't mistakenly at Pat Malacaro by mistake and put you in or you
No,
and
dude, it's my
vice
third
versa.
straight year, man. I'm part of
I'm
the I'm part
jealous.
of the core.
Yeah, there was like I heard one of their podcasts because they had all these guys on, and some of them I didn't. There was some guy named Bot. I don't know who he was, and or Z
Yeah, he's
Bot.
with Buffalo Fanatics.
Okay, Z, but yeah, and then Greg Thompson he called in from like the Matrix because his thing was whacked. I don't know where he was cooking steak somewhere on the moon, but I was kind of jealous because you know what I'm officially I like to think I am a content bro now. I
You
have a
are.
Substack and I have this amazing weekly podcast that's the best ratings of all time. And my goal is I might have to start ball washing Podfather more, so I can be a part of this coalition that gets to do cool countdown. So, anyways, but
It
it's a
was
fun
cool.
series.
For
Yeah,
people who don't know what Joe's talking about, Locked On Bills, Joe Marino every year, again, he does a two-part series, top 10 current Buffalo Bills, critical to the future of the team, and he gets 10 to 15 panelists from different media outlets on, and we vote on who the top 10 are. And then he'll ask a follow-up question where we record answers for Joe. Pat probably put Matt Collins. That
absolutely, Diamond
probably put
baby.
Matt Collins on the list. I did have Deion Walker fourth, and the follow-up he asked me was because no one else had Deion Walker that high. In fact, he didn't even make the top 10. He barely missed it, but I had him all the way up at 4. So, like, kind of my homework
Mhm.
assignment was to explain why I had Deion Walker there. And then the follow-up was among the guys not on the ballot, who was I most surprised about? And for me, it was TJ Sanders, which I wasn't
Right.
that surprised about, but I had to put a little video together. But anyway, yeah, that was really good shit. And also, what is really good shit right now? And, you know, something I hate to give you credit for anything, but there's a lot of Knicks fans. Well, put it this way, there's a lot of new Knicks fans. There's a lot of
Sure.
Knicks fans coming out of the woodwork all of a sudden. I'm talking about like in this area too, like in Western New York, people who, enjoy this show. I'm seeing a lot more Knicks fans or saying go Knicks and stuff like that. You're actually in New York right now. The NBA finals are going on. I need to be careful because, again, this is one video, but as of this recording anyway, the Knicks went to San Antonio and they won both games, and New York is just wilding out right now. I just saw before we went on the air, it's already going viral. Some dude is sitting in front of the Garden and he's saying the name Jalen Brunson 100,000 times. I don't know if you saw this yet.
No, I did not.
Yeah, it was on like Barstool Sports retweeted it, so it really got out there. But this younger in early 20s Knicks fan is just sitting there repeating the name Jalen Brunson 100,000 times. But anyway,
Uh-huh.
it's madness in New York City right now, but in a very good way, isn't it? Like that must be really, really cool. You'd have to go back to the Bills being in the Super Bowl if you're a Buffalo fan to really remember that level of hysteria. And for people like us, we were old enough, but we don't really know that much about that time. We weren't adults anyway. You know what I mean? So I don't know. What's it like there right now? You do have a perspective that not really anyone else around here does.
Yeah, it's chaos. I went there. When did I go there? I went to the game too on Friday night, and me and my friend Sam, who lives on the street, he's a Knicks fan. He's from Buffalo too. We went to this bar that normally is like dead. Like that's the backup bar where if we want to watch a sporting event, we know it's
Mhm.
going to be dead. It was packed. And then we went to a dive bar that I was like, okay, this is like a towny bar. They got like one TV. It's going to be dead. Super packed. This is in Queens. This is like in the heart, like in Astoria. This is by LaGuardia a little bit, but it's chaos. And like they won when they won the last second, when Wemby missed the bucket,
Yeah, game two.
you know,
Yep.
game two, everyone would just went nuts. And like I leave the we leave right away. So we go. I'm walking down Ditmars, which is a pretty busy street in Astoria. It's a busy street, and
Mhm.
like with a lot of restaurants, and it's just people hanging from the rafters everywhere, and they're beeping their horns. They're all screaming like "Knicks in four, Knicks in four," like
Yeah.
going nuts. And every person, like the last 2-3 weeks, every three people you walk by, they have Knicks gear on. And I was talking to my friend about this because I've been here for 24 years, and I've only seen. I write about this tomorrow on the Substack. I've only
Today.
seen today. Sorry, I always make that mistake. My bad, man. I I write on the Substack about just being here, and like I've been here for 24 years, and I've only seen. If you don't count the Jersey teams, and no one gives a shit about the Jersey teams, the New York City teams have only won 3 titles here. It's been the Yankees in 2008, and then the Giants in 2007 and 2012, I think it was.
Hmm.
And this is by far the most electric I've ever seen it. And I think it's because, unlike those other teams, like the Jets and Giants are competing against each other, the Rangers and Islanders are competing against each other,
Hmm.
the Yankees and Mets always competing with each other. No one gives a shit about the Brooklyn Nets, okay? Unless you like live there, like, and
Right.
you're an expat who like is from New York. Maybe you're from like Florida and you move to Brooklyn and you're like, oh yeah, the Brooklyn. No one cares. It's
Right.
like it's no one cares. The Knicks they have cornered the market here, for all time, and they've like Bills and like Sabres fans, I would say they're hungry for a title. They've been terrible for so long, and they got the boob owner and Jim Dolan, and like so many bad stuff has happened, since 2001. I would say, and the last 3 years have been great,
Yeah.
and
Oh, they
that
stunk
makes
forever though.
that makes it better because I was here. Look, I was here 2 years ago when the Yankees went to the World Series, and I didn't feel the goosebumps. I didn't feel the electricity walking down the street because I think a lot of people are like spoiled by the Yankees, and
Sure.
they got and I'm in Queens, and Queens is more of a Met territory, but yeah, dude, it's nuts. I've never it's I told my wife afterwards, I'm like, you know what? If they sweep, I think on game 4, we may have to like move the car to like a parking lot like way away because I feel like this is gonna be like it's gonna be nuts. Like
Yeah.
this it's a powder keg here, and the Knicks are they're fun to watch, and it's awesome. Yes, kicking Oakley out of the Garden was crazy. Yes, and sadly Jim Dolan doesn't want to bring him back, but he'll bring other idiots back.
You know
But
what's funny is every once in a blue moon, sports could kind of, to some level, ignite a city. New York City is the biggest city in the country. It's the most electrifying city in the country for a million reasons, and it feels right now like with the Knicks from an outside perspective, but just again seeing socials or watching the news, even it doesn't what black or white, left or right, whatever your religion is, whatever, and it doesn't matter. Like everybody loves the Knicks, and all these videos, everyone's going nuts. It doesn't matter.
yeah,
Again, it's old white dudes, it's young black dudes, it's Puerto Rican dudes, it's Mexican people. It doesn't matter. Like everybody loves the Knicks, and it's really cool that everybody kind of. And I know this sounds a little corny and cliche, like "Hey, go team," you know what I mean? Like that's whack for the most part. But in this case, I think it's actually pretty cool, especially in a melting pot like New York City. There ain't no fighting going on when it comes to the Knicks. Everybody wants the New York Knicks
yeah.
to win right now, and it's just really cool to see people are going again. They're losing their shit. It might not be the best fan base in the country because again, where were these people for years and years and years? But now
Well,
that they
they're
could, now they
yeah.
can taste it. They're hungry and they're the most passionate fans because they're absolutely losing their minds. It's kind of fun to see.
I mean, Knicks fans deserve it. I mean, I've liked the Knicks. I mean, there have been moments I liked them in the '90s with Ewing and Oakley and all those guys, and I enjoyed them. And obviously, it went straight to hell pretty fast in the 2000s and 2010s. But I would definitely say like I'm rooting for them, and it's been fun because like my friend Sam, he's from Buffalo, and he's always been a basketball fan, but he's never been like a giant like for a specific team. He likes the league in general and follows it,
Mhm.
but he's turned it on where he's become a big Knicks fan, and like he just like, look, I wanted to like a team that was good because he's a Bills fan and a Sabres fan
It's
and an
fun.
Orioles fan, and it's good to like cheer for like a good team right now, and they're on the precipice. I mean, hopefully, they keep it going, but
Look at the Sabre fans. Look at younger Sabre fans, dude. It's like they're Sabre fans because this is where they're from. They're born here. They got to be Sabres fans until now. You know what I mean? Over the last 10 years or so, now it's fun to be a Sabres fan because they're fucking really good. And speaking of which, by the way, Sabre fans, I went to that's Timon Beer Tent on Saturday night in South Buffalo. And there was this band called Mayday Buffalo. I'll talk about them in another episode. Awesome party band. They might be my new favorite party band in Buffalo. Hit and Run, Nerds Gone Wild. No, it's Mayday Buffalo. But anyway, I saw your boys there in the beer tent partying it up. Your peoples.
The Italians or who?
The Blade Gang.
Oh, the Blade Gang.
I seen a handful of those kids there. I recognize a few of the faces. They were partying it up there in South Buffalo. By the way, Alex Barber, real quick, one last thing with the Knicks. He said, "What were the odds in the Knicks winning the championship at the beginning of the season?" Let me tell you something.
They're pretty
high. I love ChatGPT, by the way. I'm addicted to this shit now.
God.
Well, because while he asked me that and while you were talking, I literally just typed in a sentence and bam, there it is. The Knicks were actually 9-1 at the beginning of the season to win the NBA title. This shouldn't be that big of a surprise. They had the fourth best odds at the beginning of the season. Oklahoma City was 224 or plus 240. I'm sorry. Denver was 550, Cleveland 750, and the Knicks 900. So they were among the best team or the teams that had the best chance. So it's not that surprising.
The craziest thing, and who knows if they're going to sweep them, but like they have won 13 straight games. Like that,
they lost in 44 days.
Yeah, and that to me is like the craziest thing. And they've been doing it with like the difference between this year's Knicks teams and last year's team. I wasn't down with firing Tibbs. I thought it was a mistake, but obviously, Mike Brown he's used the bench where Tibbs just refused to use the bench. You could get role guys, who are doing their job. Yeah. Brunson hasn't had a great series. He's shot kind of poorly. But they got other guys, and Cat has been great, obviously, but Cat's just turned it on. And that's what happens. Yeah. That's the thing about the NBA, that when the playoffs start, it just, you go another level. You go into like, okay, now we have to be serious. Let's get the job done. Let me ask you one quick thing I know, and then when you were living in Tampa, did a team ever win a title while you were down there?
The Buccaneers won the Super Bowl.
What was that like for you?
Didn't give a shit.
No, I know. Okay,
they didn't give a shit.
Okay. I guess my point is, was there a little bit of jealousy, like you're in a city that won a title that you have no care about?
But in a different way. Not a jealousy that another team won a title, jealousy that these fans who don't show up and show out for their team, that don't have any passion, got to celebrate a championship. Now, I'll give the Lightning credit. The Lightning won Stanley Cups when I was in Florida and living around the Tampa area. The Lightning are an exception. I will admit this. Their fan base is pretty passionate. Like, when you go to Tampa, you see a lot of Lightning shit. They go there. They go to the bars. They watch the games. I've seen it firsthand. Okay. Bucks, you go to Tampa Bay Buccaneers game, even when Tom Brady came there and they won a Super Bowl, half the fans in that stadium, if it was Tampa versus Atlanta, a divisional rivalry game at the stadium, and I know this because my guy Damone Harris played there. Anyway, I'll get off that, but my point is this. If you had the Saints or if you had the Falcons playing Tampa, you'd be having people with Saints jerseys on, Rams jerseys, because everyone's from somewhere else, and they don't give a shit. They're just there to go watch NFL football. They have some fans. I'm not going to say they don't have any real fans, but not a kind of fan base that deserves titles. So in that aspect, I was a little jealous at the fans that they didn't deserve it. I didn't really give a shit that the team itself won the Super Bowl.
Right.
Anyway, all right, let's I want to get into our top 10 Bills list, but before that, I do got to throw a couple promos out there. A couple live shows coming up here this week. Pretty good ones, too. Tuesday night, Imperial Pizza, 8 p.m. Singer Cammie Clooney is going to be with me, 1035 Abbott Road. Again, Imperial Pizza. We're going to talk about her life, her career, her music. She's got new music out. Of course, Cammie is known from The Voice, but also now singing the anthem at Bills and Sabres games. So she's become real popular. So if you happen to be in the South Buffalo area, you want to come up, you want to meet her, she's very friendly. You come up, say hi, Imperial Pizza Tuesday night. And then the very next night, Wednesday night, we'll be back to talking Bills. I'm going to be at Sunny Reds. Bills beat reporter from Rochester, Thad Brown, is going to join me. That's a 7:30 start. 50-cent wings, by the way, at Sunny Reds on Wednesday night. So that's a really good deal. Some solid wings. If you want to come up, watch the show, chat with Dad, all that other stuff, he'll be there with me as well. So pretty busy week here at Talking Buffalo. And Joe's with me right now on the video side. Audio side, we're doing back-to-back episodes. We'll talk about your promotion a little bit when we get to your Substack for the end, and then we'll hit on it for the next episode too. But anyway, all right, so I came up with, because I see him floating around. And look, I'll also admit this. You can really find out who your true regulars are times like this time of year. There's just nothing going on. And people, the weather's getting nice. People are out doing shit. No Sabres, no Bills. So you kind of hit that dead zone, and that's where we're and pretty much everybody's at. But I thought it would be pretty cool to come up with a top 10 list of all-time Bills. I made a list. I'm going to run it down, and I want the people who are listening to the show or watching, and Joe specifically, to kind of chime in a little bit. Tell me if it sounds about right where you would have them. Just any general thoughts. I think where Josh Allen fits in on this, and maybe Jim Kelly as well, might surprise a little bit of people. Maybe not. We'll find out. So let me get this going. I'll start with number 10. And I got Eric Moulds on this. I should have made up a graphic. I was lazy this weekend, to be honest with you. But number 10, I got Eric Moulds. And I'm just going to run down. I'm not going to go through all the numbers for all these players. We don't need to be here for 2 hours doing this. But Eric Moulds is number 10. 2-time second-team All-Pro, second all-time pretty much in every category with the Buffalo Bills in terms of receiving. He set a franchise record at the time in 1998 at over 1,368 yards. Everyone remembers that playoff game in Miami where he had 9 catches for 240 yards, that wild card game against the Dolphins. I'm going to start with him at number 10, and I'll also say I think maybe if he had a little more consistent quarterback, maybe on some better teams, he actually could be higher on this list. I think Eric Moulds was a great player, but even calling him great, I still think he was also underrated as well. What do you think?
Yeah, that seems fair. I mean, I loved Eric Moulds. Like he was awesome, and I think at one time, this is a hot take. I think at his prime, he was better than Andre Reed. I really believe that. You know, whether it was 98, 2000, or 2002, I thought he was better. The difference was Moulds' career wasn't as long. The longevity wasn't as like Reed's, but he was awesome. I mean, he was could break tackles, could beat you deep. Like he was a monster.
Great blocker,
I never
big,
saw
strong dude.
Yeah, and can you imagine, like, you and I have talked about the Eric Moulds rule of, like, the third season is supposed to be when the wide receiver comes into play, because his first 2 seasons he was terrible. He didn't do anything.
He was a bust early on.
And all of a sudden and he just returned kicks, and all of a sudden, like, Rob Johnson and Doug Flutie turned him up. Doug Flutie actually more or less like hooked him up, but yeah, he's definitely he should be on the. I know there's no Wall of Fame. I don't even know what the hell they're gonna do with the new stadium. I'm kind of disappointed they won't have a Wall of Fame probably. He should be up there. Like he's a Hall of Famer. He's a Bills Hall of Famer, no question.
By the way, real quick side note, because you mentioned the stadium Wall of Fame, I went to the Bills store on Saturday, and dude, that new stadium is looking really, really, really nice. And that old stadium is methodically getting picked apart. Like you can start to see some of the holes in the seat areas and things like that. But anyway, so I got Eric Moulds 10. Number 9, and then we'll take a break after this one. Number 9, I got Cornelius Bennett. 3-time first-team All-Pro, 5-time Pro Bowler. I think he lived up to the hype in what probably was the biggest trade in Bills history, that big 3-way deal with Indy and the Rams in 1987. Had 71.5 career sacks, 31 forced fumbles. He was just a really good playmaker. The one knock against him is, man, the Super Bowls, it just, you know what I mean? Like most of the defense just didn't show up. But this dude was an all-time great, man. And again, you gave up a lot to get him, and it was worth the trade. Cornelius Bennett, one of the all-time greats. I got him at number 9.
Bennett was an interesting case where, as I kind of alluded to earlier, they used to move him around. And I don't mean like moving him around like, oh, they're moving him around to make him, you don't know where he is. But they would like switch positions where he would go inside linebacker in a 3-4. And I hated him he was much better in that LT outside linebacker position.
Yeah, I agree.
91, he was amazing that season. It was one of the best seasons like a Bills defensive player ever had because that was when Bruce got hurt. He picked up the slack. He was just all over the place. They got killed by injuries that season, and he was great. But then after 91, he was kind of ordinary. But he made the Pro Bowl a bunch. I don't know if I would put him in the top around here right now. I don't want to I wouldn't put him there.
Okay.
In the top 10.
Okay. When I get
ahead.
through these, we'll kind of, like you say, you won't put them in the top or you put them higher or lower. We'll kind of dissect where you would have them after. Let's do this. I want to take a real quick break, come back on the other side, and we'll get through the rest of these. And again, some of them, I think, especially once you get into the top 4, I think where their place is going to get really interesting. That and plenty more coming up right after this 5-second break on the video side. I'll give you credit for something. Or actually, let me ask you a real quick question. Do you find yourself, and this is an age kind of question, do you have trouble remembering things from like 3 months ago? It seems like you remember stuff from 30 years ago better than you remember stuff maybe from 3 months ago. I know that's definitely the case with me, but I would say it even goes back more than 30 years. Like you could run off things off the top of your head from the Bills from the 90s like it's nothing. But if I asked you what show we did 8 weeks ago, I feel like you would have no idea. Or am I off?
I would remember. You're off. I have a good football memories of like I really do remember the Bills a lot, and it's an issue. Like I shouldn't remember all this.
Well, you're
stuff.
really again. That's one of the things you're definitely really good at. You can recall historical things and numbers and teams and players.
I mean, I think it's
really good.
I think it's just look. I didn't have like growing up. I was not like look. I didn't play sports growing up. I was kind of a nerd. I know you guys would never think that. You would probably think I'm like the coolest, like the Fonz of coolness. But, I was a nerd and I watched a lot of TV growing up. And then, I drank like a teen, when I turned 16, 17, I was an underage drinker at times. But like a lot of what I grew up with was watching sports. I watched all 4 major sports. I lived for watching sports. I didn't live for playing it because I sucked at it. But I loved watching sports for like my entire youth. That's kind of what my kids threw me in front of the TV, or my kids, my parents threw me in front of the TV, and they were like, watch what you want to watch. And it was Terminator and RoboCop and the Bills. That was kind of it. So,
all right, number 8 here. Let's get back here. Andre Reed. All right, Andre Reed, Hall of Famer, 2-time second-team All-Pro, 7 straight Pro Bowls. Andre Reed leads the team in pretty much every receiving statistical category to date. 941 catches, almost over 13,000 yards, 86 touchdowns. The comeback game, that was his signature moment, the Houston game. 8 catches for $136, 3 touchdowns, and that's what I was talking about, by the way, difference between me and you. I got to look that shit up and write it down. You just remember those numbers. Anyway, my point, Andre Reed, the longevity, Hall of Famer, never was the best receiver in the league, probably not even the top 2 or 3 at any point of his career, but he was always really, really, really good over a long, sustained period of time, and ultimately that's why he's a Hall of Famer. I got him at number 8.
Yeah, I mean, I would say he definitely is in the top 10. I mean, he's a Hall of Famer. I would say Reed is the one guy out of those 90s Bills that he showed up in the Super Bowl. Like, he was their best player in the Super Bowls, all 4 of them. I think I think the last Super Bowl, he may have had, like, at one time, like, the most catches in a Super Bowl.
8 catches
in totality.
In one game, like $120 something or whatever.
Yeah,
he was actually good in the Super Bowl.
He was Super Bowl, Super Bowl 27. He was awesome. He had 100 yards by the end of the first half. Like he killed the Dallas in crossing patterns. He was great, and there was. I always just say this: like there was those 2 plays in the Super Bowl where he like almost broke it all the way, and he didn't, and he got stopped like inside the 5 each time, and they only came away with 3 freaking points both those times, which is fucking ridiculous. But yeah, great run after the catch guy. He was awesome. Like. You looked at him, and he looked like, he was, at that time, I don't want to say, like, he was one of those wide receivers that started really training more Like you see the modern day wide receivers, they're all jacked. Like he was jacked, and that didn't happen all that much in the 80s, 90s, where you would look and see like Jerry Rice wasn't jacked, he was just fast. And you looked at Reed was cut. He started really building muscle and all that sort of
You
stuff.
can make a case that Andre Reed might be the best value draft pick all time in Buffalo Bills history. I mean, a 4th-round pick from Kutztown State becomes a Hall of Famer. So I got him at 8. The next 2, we won't even comment. I'm gonna mention them. We're old, but we ain't that old to really recall them. But I would be doing an injustice to the history of the franchise if I didn't include these 2 on the list. And then we'll pick it back up at number 5. But number 7, I got Joe DeLamielleure, Hall of Fame guard. He went in the Hall of Fame in 2003. He was on the 1970s All-Decade team. He had 8 total first or second team All-Pros. He made the All-Pro 8 times, man. 3 straight Pro Bowls. Played in 185 straight games. So he was a workhorse. I got him at number 7. Number 6, Billy Shaw. He went into the Hall of Fame in 1999. 8-time AFL All-Star. 5-time first-team All-NFL selection. Named to the all-time AFL team. He was the best offensive lineman that helped key the Bills back-to-back championships. The only ones they've ever won in 1964 and 65. So I got Joe D 7. I got Billy Shaw 6. We'll pick back up. This is the last of all the ones, Joe, that are on this list. I feel like this is the guy who I think is placed at the right spot. This is the most accurate one where I feel like most people really shouldn't argue this. Some will. I got Thurman Thomas at number 5 all time. All right. He's the best all-around running back in franchise history. And again, I think the easiest spot. He's ranked to me clear-cut. Anyone we've talked about to this point, I think should be higher than. And anyone who we haven't talked about yet, I think this is where he should be. I really don't need to state his case. I don't need to run through his stats, his accomplishments. The Hall of Famer, we all know that. Thurman was awesome. I got him at number 5.
By the way, look at the shirt I got from Homage. You see that? Thurman Thomas on a.
Oh, shit.
Card.
I just put 2 and 2 together. There you go.
There you go.
That is a nice shirt. I like that shirt.
Thank you. I disagree. I think he's in the top 4. Thurman.
Okay. Well,
and I'm gonna go ahead. I'll save it. I'll save it when I
save it because well, you can tell me. I'm more than welcome to you telling me why I'm wrong. For now, we'll shelf that.
We got to keep going. Okay, I don't know. It's all you. I got to sell still.
I got to sell. You're selling this match.
I got to sell. I got to sell. You're
Who's
just hitting me right now.
Who produced this match? Who was the booker for this match? This was
that was for you. That was you. So I gotta wait. Like right now, I'm Hogan trying to like reach for the crowd, and I can't do anything, and you're just squashing me. Go ahead.
All right, here we go. Number 4, and again, some people aren't going to agree with these. I don't think. Number 4, I have Jim Kelly. Jim Kelly, Hall of Famer in 2002, 5-time Pro Bowler. 1 time he was first-team All-Pro. He led the Bills to 4 AFC championships. He was the architect, the leader of the K-Gun offense. Tough as nails, fierce, all those, adjectives that describe Jim Kelly. The Bills don't go to 4 Super Bowls without him. I don't think there's any question about that. At the time of his retirement, he was top 10 all-time in passing yards, completions, and TD passes. The only reason why maybe I don't have him a little bit higher is, and tell me if you agree with this, I don't think at any point of his career, I don't think he was the best or one of the top 2 quarterbacks in the NFL. I mean, you had an era where you had Joe Montana and John Elway and Dan Marino. I kind of think he's kind of like Joe Burrow today in a world with Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, I guess. Well, if that makes sense.
The thing is, I mean, look, there was a very top heavy, like there was no middle class of quarterbacks. It was like the top guys, and there was no debate. Like and Kelly was a part of that.
Yeah, he was 100%.
He was. I would say, you mentioned Elway. Elway's numbers were not great until like the middle of and I know it was a different era, but he didn't start really getting better statistically wise until Rod Smith and McCaffrey came up. Yeah. Like his numbers were a little bit wacky, but he was always good in the clutch. Like that was what he did. Like when he had like the most comebacks ever or whatever his numbers were. Marino was always great. The only year you can say Kelly was you can make a case was 91. 91 he had 33 touchdowns, I think 17 interceptions, he had like 100. He was awesome that year. And 33 touchdowns in 1991 is like
Yeah.
47 today. Like he
Didn't
was great.
Thurman win MVP that year, or was it the next year?
He won in 91. He won MVP, and then I think Jim may have won MVP, but for like a different different writing group, because
Like UPI or something like that. I remember.
I don't know, like the TV people. Who the hell knows? But like that, they were 1A, 1B for offensive. But that was the one year that you could say Jim Kelly. I think he led the league. He may have led the league in touchdowns that year. But I think you could have said in 91 he was the best. And then he after 91 he did have struggles. Like 92 he was not as good. Like he started off hot and then he got really shitty and then he got hurt and then he was bad in the Super Bowl. Then they started being more of a running the football, like in 93 up until the end of Jim Kelly's career. Like they became a more running the football team, and you can tell that Jim wasn't the same. And part of it may have been offensive line was not as good, or Andre Reed didn't have that. They could never get that James Lofton type guy that was like that 1B guy. Like they tried it with Brooks, and Brooks was he did okay that one year, but that was But yeah, Jim was. I hear what you're saying. I don't know if he was like in that. He was in that class. Like, look, he was in that. It was Warren Moon, Montana, Marino, Elway, Jim Kelly. Like that was the five that you can always look to and be like, those are like the guys. Like,
in your brain, having them at 4. Does that feel right to you? Does it feel higher or lower? And I will say, 91, he finished second in MVP voting behind Thurman. And he also finished in the top 5 one other time. 1990, he finished 5th in MVP voting.
I would switch him with Thurman.
All right, so you have Thurman 5. Okay.
Yeah. No, right. Thurman Kelly
4.
5. Yeah, Thurman 4. Yes.
All right,
that's where I would do it.
In your list, you have Thurman ahead of Jim Kelly by 1.
Yeah. All and right. I'll tell you why, if I can. I think when Frank Reich went into the game and he started, that team did not miss a beat. They didn't. And the reason why was Thurman Thomas was the guy. And he was the most important player on that team. And Jim Kelly may have got the girls, and he had the fanfare, and Kelly's for kids, and, the blue-collar guy, and all that sort of shit. Like, he got the fame, like, without question. But Thurman, I thought, was the most important player on that team.
That's a fair take. I don't think that's disrespectful to Jim at all, man.
And I'll say this. I think Thurman, from 89 to 94, he was a top 3 running back. It was always Emmett, Barry Sanders, and him. That was the 3. You could, no one else could touch them. And I think he was, and look at the playoffs. He had better playoff games than Kelly did. Kelly was great in 90 for the playoffs. After that, he wasn't very good in the playoffs. Thurman was good in the playoffs. He was great in 95 against Miami. I think over 100 yards. Like, It's Thurman.
Okay.
That's my opinion.
All right. Number 3, Josh Allen. Number 3, I got Josh Allen right now. I think he's on his way to being number 1. At this rate right now, okay, if he has another solid 4, 5, 6 years of playing at the level he is, maybe he ends up at and if they win a Super Bowl especially, he ends up at number 1. But right now we're in June of 2026. I cannot put him at number 1 yet. There's still more work to be done, including, again, at least getting to a Super Bowl. But right now, I think he's arguably the best quarterback in the NFL. I think he's arguably the best player in the NFL right now. I think you can make a fair and reasonable argument for that. He's won an MVP. He's had some decent help around him, but not great teams around him aside from peak Stephon Diggs. I'll certainly say that. But I think he's on his way to being number 1. He's the most talented player in the league. He might be the most talented player ever to wear a Buffalo Bills uniform. And it almost feels like I'm criticizing him by not having him number 1 yet. But I don't. I got him at number 3 for now. A year from now, we might be having a different conversation. But right now, today, I got him at number 3.
I agree with that.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I that right now, and like you said, he's got 10 more years left. I will say this, and you may have just alluded to this, and my apologies because I went into a different place. I stopped paying attention. But if Josh keeps up the same numbers but doesn't win a Super Bowl, does he overtake
Number
number
one and
one?
two.
Like, or
Yes.
do you like? Yeah, like he still has to like put up numbers, but like he
Yeah.
can. Okay.
Yeah.
If he
I
won a
think
Super Bowl next year, though, does he overtake them?
yes.
Does he go number one?
Yep.
So he needs to just get to a Super Bowl, win a Super Bowl, and
Yes. I think
he'll
so.
be
And
number one.
ultimately, if he
Okay.
doesn't, it'll come down to career achievements at that time. But I think a Super Bowl would elevate him. Number two, and this is where I think some people are going to disagree the most. But looking at this objectively and taking out emotion or hatred for the human, I got O.J. Simpson at number two, man. Again, some will say I have him too high. Let me explain. First of all, Hall of Famer, 1973 Hall of Famer. He won NFL MVP in 1973. He's the first guy ever to rush for 2,000 yards in a season, and he did it in 14 games. He set an NFL record with 273 rushing yards in a game against Detroit on Thanksgiving. Five-time first-team All-Pro, okay? He was on the All-Decade team. He led the NFL in rushing 4 times in 5 years between 72 and 76. So for at least a 5-year span, he was easily the best running back in the NFL, if not the best player in the NFL and the biggest star. So I think this is easier than people think if you look at the numbers. Again, MVP, all-time records, 4 rushing titles in 5 years, 5 times first-team All-Pro. To me, this is pretty easy, and I got him at number 2.
You see, I can't. A few things. One, obviously, this is before our time, OJ. You know, we didn't watch him. Do you at all look at he only made the playoffs once? And this was during an era where you had running the football meant everything. Like, it's not like today, like, you know, where it's like it's the passing game. There was no balance. It was all about running the football. They only made it once. I don't know. I think he did pretty poorly in that playoff game. It was against the Steelers after they rushed for 2,000. He didn't do well in that game. But do you at all hold that against him?
Not really. It's not his fault. Just like that would be like me asking you, do you hold the fact that Detroit barely made the playoffs and never really did jack shit in the playoffs? Do you hold that against Barry Sanders?
Well, Barry did have some really bad games. He had the one game I remember against Green Bay where he had 0 yards rushing.
He won one playoff game in his career. Detroit won one
crazy.
playoff game in Barry Sanders' career. And I think if we had a poll who's the greatest running back of all time, I think Barry Sanders would probably win convincingly.
Absolutely.
Worst, he would be top 2 or 3, right? And again, he's won one playoff game in his career, and he's still that. And it's a fair question that you asked, but if that's the sticking point that, you know, team success.
It's just I wish one day if you ever have Sal Mariana on this, I wish you guys would do. I do respect Sal's history because he's wrote like 75 books or whatever he's done. I would like him to like go through that top 10 because I think I would like to know his perspective of the 70s because
I like that. You're right.
You know, I don't know because, like I said, I know the history of OJ. I know the 2,000 yards. I know how well he did, but then you look at it like they only made the playoffs once, and I know, like, I don't know. I know it's not his fault. You're right, and I don't know what that. I wish someone could tell me. Well, the reason why they didn't make the playoffs in '73 was Joe Ferguson stunk, or the defense was bad, or you know they ran into Miami because Miami kept beating them every year, and that was the problem. They were in a bad division. Or a good division with Miami. I wish I could know more about it. But I agree. I'm fine with. I would probably agree with that take. You know, it's close between that one and the next one.
I would love to ask somebody like Sal, who's been around longer. He's older than us.
Yeah.
Like, where would he have OJ on his list? And also, where would he have Billy Shaw? Where would he have Joe DeLamielleure? I think it would be fun to have somebody who actually watched them play. Yeah, but dude, I'm looking at his rushing yards. Yeah, man. OJ's number 2 to me. I'm sorry, but he is. Which means, number 1, no surprise to you or I. I think maybe if you're a Bills fan who's maybe under 25, or maybe I'll give you 30 years old, you might push back and say it's Kelly or especially Josh Allen. But it's Bruce Smith. Bruce Smith has to be number 1. Hall of Famer. He's the all-time NFL sack leader. 2-time NFL Defensive Player of the Year. 8-time, Joe, I never realized this. He made the first team All-Pro 8 times. 11, who gives a shit about the Pro Bowl? 8 times
Sure.
first team All-Pro. First team. He also made the All-Decade team in the 80s and the 90s. His best year, the year the Bills went to their first Super Bowl, he had 19 sacks. Defensive Player of the Year that season. He also sacked Jeff Hostetler in the end zone right before the half in that Giants game where if that ball pops out, or, maybe it's a different story. But anyway, my point is this dude, the longevity, the totals, just how dominant he was for such a long period of time. To me, this is some people might disagree, but to me, this is an absolute freaking no-brainer. At least right now it is. Again, Josh Allen could overtake him someday. Maybe a year from now if he wins the Super Bowl. But right now, come on, man. No way.
I agree.
Right.
Bruce is the man. There's nothing more I can add. Like, Bruce is the man. I wish they would have had another. I was never a giant Jeff Wright fan. He was the nose tackle. He was fine. And then Ted Washington came in like the mid 90s, and he was much better than Jeff Wright was. And then Leon Seals was, aside from having like the great nickname of Dr. Sack, he didn't do much. Phil Hansen was fine. When he came in as a rookie, I think in 91 or something like that. Like, I wish they could have always had another guy on that defensive line to help Bruce, because I think his numbers would have been better. Because, look, the bar is him and Reggie White during the 90s and 80s. And Reggie White played with Clyde Simmons. He played with Jerome Brown. He played with Seth Joyner. He had Buddy Ryan, who was a czar when it came to defenses with blitzing and killing people. He had at least I thought, a much better defensive line. Clyde Simmons and Jerome Brown were legit. Like, they were studs on that defensive line.
Sure.
But
no matter what, Bruce is one of the best edge rushers, pass rushers ever in NFL history. Quick shout out, honorable mentions off the top of my head. Darryl Talley was deserving, the heart and soul of that era, as far as I'm concerned. Ken Hull, certainly deserving. You know what? If Stephon Diggs would have had a couple more great years in Buffalo, we would have been talking about him potentially on the list. If we want to talk about modern era players, Kyle Williams deserves at least mention. I don't think he bumps anybody off the top 10. Steve Tasker at least deserves mention. I saw one list where he was on the top 10. I think that's insanity. He's not a top 10 player. Great player, but not a top 10 all-time player. A couple old guys, I'm sure. What would have been, do you have any major differences with my list?
The only I thought the countdown was was good. Like, the Thurman one, like I said, I would have switched Thurman and Jim. Bennett, I would have took out. I would have put Cookie Gilchrist in, because Cookie was, again, before my time. But I just remember, I think it was Larry Felser said he was the best running back he ever saw.
For a very short amount of time, though.
You're right. I mean,
he only had a couple years with the Bills.
Did he have a couple of years? Was it 3 or 4? I thought he was there. I don't know. I would probably put him over Bennett. I thought about Reuben Brown a little bit. I know, like, you're going to say, who cares about the Pro Bowl? I mean, the Pro Bowl did have some meaning then, way more than it does now. I liked Reuben. I thought Reuben was a hell of a player. I think I think he should be on the Wall of Fame. Like, I think Molds, Reuben Brown, if you want to talk about those, like,
9 Pro Bowls
90s.
for Reuben. No one even talks about him. 9 Pro Bowls.
Yeah, I mean.
By the way, Cookie played 3 years with the Bills. That's it. That's why I can't have him on a list. As great as he was, he only played 3 seasons with the team. Like, if that's the case, why Stephon Diggs not on here? Stephon was better than Molds or Reed for 4 years.
Yeah, I guess Cookie, because he's on the Wall of Fame. I don't know. I'm not gonna. Someone. A.A. Barber has a good question. Pat and Joe, could you see James Cook getting in the top 10? That's a good question. Could you see him getting in the top 10?
It would be very difficult. I'm not
difficult?
saying never. Well, who was number 10? He's going to have to. Eric Molds. Is he going to? How many great years does James Cook got to have to knock Eric Molds off the list? I guess that's the question.
Okay, he's got 3 1,000-yard seasons. James Cook right now.
Yep.
Eric Molds. I want to say Eric Molds had 4 1,000-yard seasons. That's all he had. It was 98, 2000, 2002, and 2000. I want to say 4. He had over 1,000 yards. So we only had 4. Like, that was the thing about Molds that was annoying. Like, Molds would have like an amazing year, then he'd have a kind of a downerly year, and then he would be amazing.
Literally every other year. To your point, 98, 2000, 2002, 2004. 4 years Eric Molds went over 1,000 yards. Yeah, Cook could
Yeah.
get there. I mean, he's the only one on this team right now that I think of that could get there, obviously.
So do you think Deion Dawkins? I can't get past Bennett. Like that's the thing. Like I keep going back with Bennett. Like Deion Dawkins, you don't see him on there.
I see him the same way I see Talley and Ken Hall. I think
Not
a great
there, okay.
honorable mention guy, but I don't think he's a top 10 Bill. I don't see
Oh, what
his
about
ceiling.
no Poyer, Hyde?
No, same deal. Honorable
Yeah.
mention. Like we could make a top 40 of all time, and I think we'd have a lot of compelling cases.
Joey Hatch has a good one.
Fred Smirlis, that is a good one. He was
That's a good
he was
one.
one of the better defensive tackles in the league, and he was here for a long time. He deserves
Yeah.
strong honorable mention for sure. I'll tell you what. Let's do it, Mark Kelso.
No, we're not doing Mark Kelso.
We're not doing
Vader.
Mark
No.
Kelso. The live chat, Joey adds in the
I-
live chat, jumping the shark here.
No.
I
Mark
wanna do this.
Kelso was my least favorite Bill during that early 90s. He was my least favorite Bill. Couldn't stand him. I know he had like 8 interceptions one year because they were just throwing the ball at him. He couldn't run. And he was definitely, the film bros would have loved him. They would be like, oh, he knows the film. Oh, Mark Kelso. That's what they would have done. Anyway.
Jay Luce 121 said if it weren't for Doug Marone, Stevie Johnson might have made the list. Stevie would have at least got more consideration, that's for sure. What do you have, like 5,000 yards or three? He had 3,000 yard seasons. Yeah, something like that. Very good player. Again, we're talking top 10 of all time. So saying somebody's not on the top 10 isn't automatically an insult by any means. Anyway, real quick break. One more quick break. Video side. Be right back. And we're going to talk about the worst Buffalo Bills of all time. Our Mount Flushmore coming up right after this break. For everybody here who's, are you cracking a beer?
No. Not yet. Why? I'm doing nothing.
For everybody who's...
No, I was getting close to the microphone. First off, I have a take. Can I get this take off my chest?
Boy. Go ahead.
I'm very annoyed what's happening right now with the Knicks in Game 3, that they're not doing any their version of Party in the Plaza outside of MSG because the president's coming there. I mean, I'm sorry. I won't get political. That's in my contract, sadly. But my God, like, really, do we have to do this for Game 3? Like, fans have been waiting for this for, like, their whole lives, and they can't even go to the Party in the Plaza next to MSG. They got to get there 3 hours early so this guy can take a selfie. I don't care if it was Obama, Biden, Bush, the president from Independence Day. Like, freaking go there in a regular season or something like that, dude. Anyway, fucking bullshit. Go ahead.
Mike Carl, by the way, a good comment before. We were talking about honorable mention players, and Mark Kelso is a joke, but not a joke as a person or a player, but not top 10. George Sames, a great safety from way back in the day, deserves some honorable mention. For people who are watching this right now, if you're watching this on the video side, I just want to remind you, if you came in late, at the end of this episode, which is going to be wrapping up soon, we're actually going to transition right into another one. It's just going to be one video. Joe will get another beer, but we're actually recording the podcast for the next day as well. So we're going to do that all in one video. It's one stream. We're not going to switch links or anything like that. So we're just going to keep going. So you're basically getting two podcasts here at once. So, that's for the video side. Audio side, you're like, who gives a shit? This is going to end in the next one the next day. All right. Actually, I want to ask you a real quick question. Sure. Probably not going to get the time this deserves because I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about this, but Russ Wilson just retired. One of my least favorite players. I just think he's a fraud and a phony. I mean, I hate Aaron Rodgers, and everyone knows that, but I don't like Russ Wilson that much either. I just think he's a fraud to me. Anyway, he's got a job now with CBS, which I think he's going to stink as a studio analyst. Again, just my personal biased opinion, I guess. But here's the real question I want to ask. Is Russ Wilson a Hall of Famer? I put together a couple quick notes for yes and no, if you're interested in hearing them. Are you interested in hearing them?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, here's why yes. He won a Super Bowl. 9-time Pro Bowler. 45,000 passing yards. 350 touchdowns. Multiple 4,000-yard seasons. A dual-threat quarterback. And that deserves some credit, too. He was a legit dual-threat quarterback before everybody in the league became a dual-threat quarterback. Now that's not even, it's almost, if you're not one, you're not going to last in this league. But he was one of the OGs with that. That's the props. The no is, you look at his career, he stunk his last 5 seasons. I mean, he was bad. Pro Bowls are overrated, and he made 9 Pro Bowls. Again, so did Reuben Brown. Enough said. I don't think Reuben Brown's an NFL Hall of Famer. All right? Anyway, 9 Pro Bowls, no All-Pros. Not one. Not a single All-Pro. First or second team, and he never got an MVP vote. Never got a vote for MVP. So he's never been one of the best quarterbacks. He's been a very good one. And again, I know I'm being a little bit biased here against him, but that's the no. So there's the yes, the no. What do you think? Is Russ Wilson a Hall of Famer in your book?
That's a tough one. I'm going to say no, because even when he won the Super Bowl, he was game manager, Russ Wilson. Like, he was good-ish. He wasn't that. The Seahawks won that Super Bowl because of defense. Like, the Legion of Boom was awesome. Even the following year, they were awesome. Then, like, Russ started cooking. He became better. And then, like, from what I want to say 2014 to 2020, he was awesome. Like, he was great, and you're right about him playing, like, shit after that. But if you were to ask me, who do I like more? Because I feel like the controversial ones are, like, Eli and him in the last 15 years. Mm-hmm. Like, who should get in? And I would rather have Russell Wilson than Eli Manning as like, starting quarterback. You'd rather have Eli? I mean, Eli never had really good numbers, though. At least Russell was considered an MVP candidate. I know he didn't make All-Pro, but you have to remember, Pat, making All-Pro for a quarter or it's hard.
Yeah, there's only 2 of them. So you got to be one of the best 2 quarterbacks that year.
Okay, well, I don't know why you would say Eli is better. I would say Russell
won a Super Bowl MVP, beat Tom Brady twice.
The defense beat Tom Brady twice.
I think they're both borderline. I think here's everything we do comes back to wrestling. That's what we do on the show, right?
Sure.
I think Russ Wilson gets in, but to me, it feels like when Michelle McCool gets inducted into the Hall of Fame. It's like, Michelle McCool.
I know he's better than Michelle McCool.
I don't by a lot.
That.
Anyway,
I don't know.
All right, I was just wondering what your thoughts were on that.
I mean, I get, like, let me ask you this real quick. Right now, the starting quarterbacks in the NFL. Mm-hmm. I'm serious. I want you to guess who's in the Hall of Fame. I know I'll start naming them because I know you're probably like, oh God, he's got me on the spot and I'm dumb.
No, it's not that. So you want quarterbacks that are in the NFL right now, Hall of Fame.
Right now, they're going in the Hall of Fame. Yes.
Well, for sure. You want, like, if they stop playing tomorrow, they're in the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
Matt Stafford.
Or no, just say they're on the way. Yes. Or you could say, like, yeah, they're on their way. Like,
Stafford's clearly very much on his way to the Hall of Fame. Mahomes could be going to Hall of Fame tomorrow if he never played another game again.
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen's on his way. He's not a Hall of Famer right now. Lamar Jackson is on his way. He's not a Hall of Famer right now. I think Joe Burrow's got more work to do. I think he's to be determined. He's certainly got the potential to be a Hall of Famer.
I would put Burrow right. Yeah, I think. I mean, I get. Look, if they've only played 5 years, I get it. But you could just say if he keeps
Aaron Rodgers,
he's going in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Yes.
Aaron Rodgers is going to the Hall.
Burrow was. What about Baker Mayfield? Is he going to go in the Hall of Fame?
No. Why?
No, you're like no Baker.
Right, he's good.
No, you don't want Baker.
He's good. He's good. He's the Hall.
He's been good.
He's good. He's not Hall of Famer.
If he's
going in,
what about Dak
with
Prescott?
the way today's NFL is, maybe who the hell knows at this point.
Okay.
It's like the WWE. Does every quarterback from this era get in eventually the Hall of Fame? Like the women's diva revolution is. Every single woman who ever wrestled in the WWE in the 90s and early 2000s is going to the Hall of Fame. Is Bo Nix going to the Hall of Fame too now after 2 years? No. Anyway, all right.
What about Justin Herbert?
Yeah.
Hall of Famer?
No. Well, I mean, he could turn his career around. Right now, today, I'd laugh at anybody who suggested that he's getting in.
What about he's almost. I don't want to say he's almost done his career, but he's been in the league for like 10 years. Dak Prescott, no, right? You don't want him in.
Yeah, no, he's in that line. He's in that.
You hate
he's
that.
A good, to very good player. Good to very good. At worst, he's good. At best, he's very good. He's
Okay.
not a top 5
All right.
quarterback. He's not a top 7 or 8 quarterback. No freaking way. No way. Let's.
Okay, all right,
We're
all
speaking
right,
about guys who don't deserve, accolades, which kind of leads to this week's Mount Flushmore of. And this topic is going to be: we did the top 10 Bills of all time. I love that graphic, by the way, for people watching on the video side. Now we're going to do the Mount Flushmore. These are the worst Bills of all time. I got 4. Actually, I got 5. So I'm going to have you decide the 5th one, and you can tell me I'm wrong about the first 3, although I really don't think there's too much of a debate with most of these. I'll get to the obvious one first. It's Aaron Maben. Aaron Maben,
Yeah,
11th
bad.
overall pick, and he never had a sack with the team, bro. 2 years, never had a sack. And also, I forgot about this because I was doing a little bit of research. Because unlike you, I actually care about the show and put in the work in. So I'm
sorry. I was with my was with my family today. Unlike you, who your family can't stand you and
they don't like me very much. However, I did go out with my wife to Beltline Brewery today, and I got some chicken fingers, and they were.
You were probably stalking Podfather's podcast and Twitter during that time.
Was not. Anyway, first rounders that year that the Bills passed on to take Maben, Clay Matthews, Brian Orakpo, or Brian Cushing. They could have had any of those dudes who were all really good players, and they took Maben, who never had a sack. And then he goes to the Jets. He had that 1 year. He had like 6 sacks. But anyway, he was out of football. Really successful now, though. I did see something like he's involved with art. Like he's a very artistic dude, and he's doing really well in life. He just was a really shitty Buffalo Bills football player. So
yeah, I mean, the rumor around the campfire was Dick Duran really wanted him, and he was like, and that was during the inner circle, and I'm not talking about Jericho, Chris Jericho's group. No, I'm talking about the inner circle of him, Modrak, fucking John Guy, Ralph, and I don't even know who else. Oh, Russ. Russ wasn't the GM; he was just a marketing dipshit. But allegedly, he was the one that wanted to do that. But yeah, he was terrible. And I do remember that year because it was that was when I used to care about the draft more. And I do remember it being like a foregone conclusion. They're going defensive end. And I remember wanting Rackpo. I was like, get him. But because Duran ran that cover 2 defense where he wanted his ends to be fast and like smallish, Maben fit that criteria for him. And he was terrible.
Yes. All right, that's a no-brainer, and the other one that's a complete no-brainer is Nate Peterman. Nate Peterman's Charger game, just if there was ever in the history of the franchise one game that defined an era of the Bills, the drought era, it's Nate Peterman Chargers as Joe's running out of his beer. November 19th, 2017, and that's the poster for the Bills drought. His first start, by the way, of his career, Taylor got benched. He went 6 for 14.
Terrible
66 yards, 5 interceptions, and he had a 17.9 quarterback passer rating. Again, he's the bar for how bad a player can look in one football game. One game made him on this list, literally. The upside is he played so bad that you knew there was no chance he was going to be the quarterback of the future. So, hey, if Nate comes out and he lights up the Chargers, there might not be a Josh Allen in Buffalo. Who the hell knows? They didn't make the playoffs.
Well, he did start the next season, and that was asinine. I mean, that was a Sean McDermott fucking. If you want to present to me a case why Sean McDermott was bad here, like that, that's might be in the top 5 that he freaking went back to him.
Mike,
he was terrible. He was awful.
I'm looking at the line. Mike Williams, Phil Dokes, Lonnie Johnson, not Mount Rushmore, but not good.
No, but look, Peterman, it was horrible. It's embarrassing that he was in the league as a practice squad guy for like the Bears and other teams for as long as he was. You could tell me he's the worst quarterback that ever like started at least 2 games in the NFL. He was terrible, awful, noodle arm, awful. Fuck him. He was terrible.
I want to find out right now in his NFL career. I'm doing this in real time. I wonder how much money Nate Peterman made in the NFL. I'm seeing if I can find that out.
Can I go get a beer real quick? Can I go?
You can go get a real quick beer while I tell the audience. Former Buffalo Bills quarterback Nate Peterman earned an estimated $8.1 million over his NFL career. That total includes contracts with the Buffalo Bills, Las Vegas Raiders, Chicago Bears, New Orleans Saints, and the Atlanta Falcons. His biggest earnings came from backup quarterback contracts with the Raiders and Bears after leaving Buffalo. So he actually made more money after he left, because, of course, he only had a rookie contract with Buffalo, but he made more money afterwards. Joe cracks a bit. Is that a different beer or the same one?
Different beer. It's an Expressway IPA, 7.2%, double dry hopped from. It's from Boston. A Trillium. I've had this on the show before. There you guys go. Looks fantastico. So,
all right.
I hopefully won't be snoring next to my wife, because that's usually get the hell out of bed moment for us. So,
all right. So we got two that were no brainers. It was Maven. It was Peterman. Third on my list is, and I've seen a couple people in the chat mention it, Eric Flowers.
Terrible.
Eric Flowers, first round pick in the 2000 draft. Just 2 seasons with the Bills. He had 4 sacks, 41 tackles. He only started 6 games. That's just bad scouting. He was not a very good player at all. Like, his skill set never translated to the NFL. That 2000 Bills draft class, like, Flowers, Travarius Tillman, Corey Moore, Avion Black.
Oh,
that was
God.
that was a terrible class. And he was terrible in the NFL.
You could, and I swear this is a hot take. You could convince me that John Butler was a better GM for the Bills than Bill Polian. Because where John Butler was when he had the draft guys normally was higher than Polian was in like 87, 88, 89, whatever. You know, he got Reuben Brown, Eric Moulds. Like, there's some good guys he found. And, you know, where Polian, it was like he scored with Thurman, then in 89, 90, 91, it wasn't that great. If you look at those drafts, it wasn't that great. Yeah. But I don't know what the hell happened in 2000 with, like, the rumor was like Butler knew he was getting the hell out of here. Not rumor, but like the joke was he knew he was getting out of here. He was going to get fired and he was going to go to San Diego. Mm-hmm. And he just half-assed that last draft. That 2000 draft was hideous. I think it goes down as the worst draft of all time in Bills history, because there's no one on that list. Sammy Morris is the only guy who had like a career, and he wasn't very good. He was just a dude. You know, he had some like whatever. He was a dude. And Eric Flowers was terrible. Number 96. He was there, I think, 1-2 years, and he was gone. He was terrible.
Last guy on my list, and this one was tough because it came down to 2 people. I see Walt Patuski's on. A lot of people in the live chat are chiming in with him. He's an honorable mention, but I don't have him on my list. It's 2 guys. I ultimately went with Terrell Trope. Back problem. I mean, he, in fairness, kind of like had injuries like right away. Dude played in 21 games, never had a sack, 31 tackles, high second-round pick. 2 starts in his career. And, of course, I think he's always going to be known as the guy that got drafted 1 spot in front of Gronk. Like, the Bills could have had Gronk. Like, literally, the next pick is Rob Gronkowski. Who knows how much different the franchise is if they take him or not. But he was terrible. And then the other guy, like, it was like 4A and 4B. This one no one talks much about. Perry Tuttle. Perry Tuttle, 19th pick overall in the first round in 1982. I kind of sort of remember him. Now, he was a stud in Clemson. He caught the game-winning touchdown pass when they won the national championship. He played 2 seasons with the Bills. He just wasn't good. He wasn't good separate. Like, his skills didn't translate to the NFL. He also had terrible play, which, by the way, a fun fact, though. He actually went to the CFL, and he had a really, really good career with Winnipeg. Won 2 Grey Cups. Very good player there. But those are my guys. It's either Trope or it's Tuttle. Flip a coin for them.
I mean, I feel like you're going for draft busts a lot more than like free agent guys, which is interesting. I don't know why you decided to do it that way, because I'll go through a different thing.
Peterman was a player, but yeah, 3 of the 4.
No, but he was a draft. He was a draft pick.
Yeah, but he's a 5th round guy. Who gives a shit?
Okay, but still, they drafted him. Like, they all struggled right away. Like, you didn't include free agents. Like, I'll include free agents for just Mike Tolbert was terrible. He was awful. Remember how bad he was in 2017? He couldn't run with a goddamn. He was terrible. Eddie Robinson was awful.
He was Williams so washed up by the time he got here. Who was it? Who was the
Greg
quarterback?
Williams.
Pennington, who left him in his
Yeah,
jockstrap on
yeah.
a scramble. Oh, that was
I
so
remember that.
embarrassing.
I always remember that because I flew back to Buffalo the next day, and I was living here in New York, and I saw like the New York Post, and the picture was Eddie Robinson like collapsing on the ground basically while Chad Pennington like duked him out of his jock, like you said. But like that was a terrible free agent. In terms of Cyrus Quandra was really bad. He didn't even play. I don't even think. Like I don't remember him playing at all. Like he got drafted with Doug Whaley and with freaking
Yeah.
Moran, and he was there for 4 seconds, and I don't even think he played. I honestly have no idea. He was terrible.
I agree.
So yeah, but yeah,
You're right. I mean, mine were generally JP Law. A lot of people would say JP Lossman. I don't completely agree with that, though. I think we pretty much covered. Kyrie Elam, recent. Kyrie Elam, first round pick. I mean, he was hard to watch. He was really hard to watch. As we're wrapping up. All right. I'll tell you what. We're going to.
Remember our talk in the pregame
Yeah,
about.
I know. Well, here's what we're gonna do. I was gonna wrap this episode up anyway, so I'm gonna put up the thumbnail.
show my thing. You got to promote my my
We'll
thing.
promote that on the audio side for the next one. But what I will ask you here is we're wrapping up the first part of this podcast is just let people know what's up with your Substack, because people are going to be listening to this on Monday. So after they listen to this,
I'm getting a very dirty look from someone right now. So just FYI. The Substack's going to have a bunch of cool stuff tomorrow. Please subscribe. There's also a contest that you can definitely that's very cool. You get to go to a Bills game with me in New Jersey. So that's the key thing. The Substack's awesome. Everyone knows it. We kind of went over through it. So everyone make sure you get it. And that's it. Yeah. I'm getting eyes right now, buddy.
I gotta take Joe off camera for a quick second, which is gonna coincide with the fact that we're actually wrapping this first half up of the show. But again, I want to reiterate for people right now on the video side anyway, that we're going to continue this and we're going to record Tuesday's audio podcast. So we're going right back to Tuesday's show in just a handful of seconds here. This is going to do it for Monday's show. So on the audio side, thank you everyone for watching, for listening. And again, we're going to come right back with Tuesday's episode. So literally be right back. All right, folks, on the audio side, I am here again recording this episode of Talking Buffalo presented by the law office of William Mattar. Heard in a car, call William Mattar, 444-4444. Call William Mattar today to get the compensation that you deserve. Again, one long video here. So on the video side, we're continuing. But on the audio side, this is our Tuesday audio podcast. Going to be a quickie. Well, I hope it's going to be a quickie anyway.
That's what she said. Go ahead.
That's what she said. Joe from Queens is back. Now, listen, some people might have missed Monday's episode on the audio side, but they're listening here. So we kind of got to act like we're, just shooting the shit here for the first time, too, as well. But this one is going to definitely be significantly shorter. What's changed in the 30 seconds since I've talked to you last, besides that your wife might beat you up?
Well, she's gone, not gone, but she went to bed. So, no, I wanted to. You know what? I'm going to promote my promotion that you just
in the first 30
through
seconds of a podcast.
Episode. Yeah. Why? You know what? Why can't I? Okay. So here's the deal, everyone. So Joe's Substack, or what the hell's my Substack called? Where's the graphic? You didn't even put this up. I sent you my graphic yesterday. You didn't. Oh, do you have it or no? You didn't. Oh, there it is. Okay. Everyone in the video can see it. So here's the deal. I decided to buy a Bills Jets package from the Astoria Bills backers of Queens, which is like the Bills backers in my backyard. I bought 2 tickets, which is going to include transportation from Queens to New Jersey, a ticket to the game, and also a tailgate there that's going to have beer and drinks and food. So it's like a $250 value. I bought 2 tickets. I bought one for myself and one for a mystery subscriber. So if you subscribe to my Substack, you are entered in This is like going to be a summer long contest. It's going to be like the longest contest of all time. Where like on September 27th, I think I picked it because it was like the third game of the year or something like that. I'm gonna pick a name, and you get to sit next to me in New Jersey and go with me. I mean, Pat, you could actually win because you are a subscriber to my podcast, so you
No,
could
I'm not.
actually
Not
win.
after this promo. I'm not going to be a subscriber to your podcast.
Why? Why are you gonna be a dick?
You're going in the business in the first 30 seconds of the show
because you didn't even promote this.
Joe didn't get enough offense in the last episode,
No.
so he's getting his offense in already.
You didn't promote this on Monday's episode, so now I'm doing it right at the top because Monday's episode usually does better. So go fuck off. So kiss my ass. Anyways, y'all can just subscribe, and then like you'll be entered, and you can freaking. Yeah,
That
go
is
to my
pretty
awesome
cool.
thing.
That is pretty cool. I love how I actually if you're watching on the video side, the graphic is actually pretty cool. And all you got to do is be subscribed to his Substack. It's about one column a week. Maybe he'll eventually write some more.
No, I mean I have to figure out when the season starts. But yeah, look, this is out of my pocket. Like this isn't like they didn't donate this to me. I'm paying for it, so it's not like when Pat gets free wings because they're giving it to him. Like he's not paying for it, for God's sake.
Speaking of wings, by the way, keeping with the theme here, if people are listening to this on Tuesday, if you want to come up to Imperial Pizza tonight, Tuesday night, 8 p.m., singer Cammie Clune is going to be with me live from Imperial Pizza at 8 o'clock. We'll talk about her life, her career. She's got brand new music out. We'll talk about her season singing anthems at the Sabre games, which has really helped raise her profile. So that's going to be Tuesday night, Imperial Pizza. If you can't get there, well, you can watch it live on my YouTube channel. And then the next night, Wednesday night, Dad Brown, Buffalo Bills beat reporter, will be with me live from Sunny Reds, 7:30 p.m., 50 Cent Wings. So if you happen to be in the area, again, want some really good wings, 50 Cent Wings, Dad Brown and I will be talking plenty of Buffalo Bills and much more. All right,
by the way, I like Thad Brown. He's on the
good dude.
He's a good dude. He's a good broadcaster. Might be my favorite broadcaster between Buffalo and Rochester, I would say. Yeah, I would say for sports TV.
Who are some?
He's number
who
one.
Are some media people? Like last week, we had a lot of fun on the show talking about media people in a good and fun way. Like we were making comparisons. We were having a little bit of fun, but some people think that you hate all media, and that's not actually true. Who are a few of the people? Well, all right. Well, then, who are a few people in the media side that Joe from Queens is actually pretty fond of, whether it's professionally, whether it's personally, and it can be
there's no personal.
bloggers, mainstream, podcasting, whatever form of media. But who are a few of Joe from Queens' favorites? What?
Yeah, unlike you, I don't put personal relationship with media. Like you, that's why everyone's your boy and you ball wash everyone. You could be like the hack of the century, and you're like, oh, I love him because he goes and comes to the Wing Fest with me. No, Graham Dunn is good. Joe B is good. Fairburn's good. I like the Athletic probably the most. Like I said, Thad Brown, I think does really a good job with the TV stuff. Beauvais good. He could be a little corny on Twitter for my taste, but whatever. All you people are fucking corny on Twitter. Show Bulldog, I'm cool with. I like Jeremy White's fine. I don't mind the host. The hosts on GR, I know some people can't stand them, and I get it. Like, fine. But the four main ones, I don't have. I think they're fine. It's honestly like the beat is kind of the people who get on my nerves, like because they're just posting fucking Josh Allen handshakes and oh my god, there's fans at this game and in New Jersey we gotta post so much stuff and all this freaking hoopla, and I'm just like, this is like I'm watching TMZ and like the paparazzi cover the Bills, and I'm just like, yeah, those are the people that and then the newspaper. I mean, the Buffalo News, all the people there. I mean. They're fine, I guess. I don't have like this. I'm not dying to read everyone at the Buffalo News every day. Like I don't go onto the app and I'm like, oh man, I got to see who's writing. It sounds disrespectful, but I just don't have this like, the people I want to read. And look, my Substack is a little bit like this. I'm a air quote columnist. Like I like opinions. That's kind of what I like. I feel like the opinions in the written form have died down. And it's mostly I'm like a hybrid beat reporter mixed in with like some column, but I do prefer like a really good writer who's shooting hot takes over I'm going to recap this fucking press conference or I'm going to interview this person. I know you love everyone and you'll never besmirch anyone unless it's Batavia Jobber or Brad Gelber. I don't fucking know who else you hate on your hate list.
I
But
hate you because I'm literally,
okay.
you are
Why?
quite literally on the air live making me take a heartburn pill. I'm like getting heartburn.
Why? You just asked me a
listening to you.
question.
Look, taking a pill on the air.
Oh my god. The worst thing right now is you're on video delay, so I don't see you eating a pill right now.
Because you're
like
lagging real bad. By the way, I've heard a couple comments in there on the video side. We're rolling with it now at this point. When I asked you what's changed in the 30 seconds, because on the video side it's just been one continuation show. What's changed in the last 30 seconds? Evening News said Joe's frame rate has changed in the last 30 seconds. I will ask you this though. I mean, it is what it is. Nothing we could do. But one of the guys you mentioned was Tyler Dunn. And there was a really interesting, well received, I'll say that for sure, story. He got a one-on-one. He sat down with Josh Allen and he had a feature story for GoLongTD.com. What was your reaction to that? What did you think about that? And why are you laughing? You got like a devilish grin to you right now. I don't trust it very much.
Because it's lagging so badly. Like 5 seconds ago, you just took the pills. I was laughing at you taking the heartburn pill.
Oh.
That's how bad this lagging is right now. Anyways, I mean, it's on my end. It's not your end. I'm sure I look great. But anyways, no, Ty's story was good. I enjoyed the Josh Allen stuff about the kid thing. And I don't know if when did you have Shane, by the way? How old were you? Or like
how old was I?
I'm not sure who's old. Yeah, I'm not sure who's older versus your daughter. Like if your daughter's
my
older,
daughter's
Shane's
older. My daughter's 27. Shane is 23. He was born in 2002. So I was 31 when I had Shane.
Did you find yourself when you read things about like kids like changing a little bit? Because I like the whole thing about him talking about the story about him like with his daughter. Like, and I don't think me 5-6 years ago would have given a shit. I was like, I don't care. Like, I don't have a kid. But like now, like, you know, having a kid, I kind of feel like it hits home a little bit more than it did before because I like that. That was kind of my favorite part because I feel like he hasn't really talked about that all that much. I don't know. How do you feel?
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. Complete honesty and transparency here. I haven't had a chance to even read the article yet. I'm going to. But I haven't had to read it. I saw it like a clip. I've seen reaction to it some on Twitter. Tyler's articles, I mean, you got to carve time out. And when I do read it, I don't just want to skim it. You know what I mean? And I've just been really busy the last few days. I'm very impressed, but also not surprised that it seems like such a simple concept, doesn't it? Get the quarterback, have a one-on-one sit down, and whatever direction it is that you want to go, you go with that direction, whether it's a puff piece, whether it's a hit piece, whether it's a deep dive, whatever you want to call it, just to be able to sit down and talk to the star and put a story out to me is pretty impressive. So I give I give Tyler props for that. And I'm sorry, but I can't help it. I know I keep saying I'm not going to even bring the shit up or the name up or whatever, but I just think of fucking Brasky, who just continues to take shots at this dude and about the dirt and rump journalism and this and that. And he's where he's at. And Tyler's got one-on-ones with Bean. He's got one-on-ones with Allen. It's just, come on, man. Just do your work and let your work speak for yourself. It just, I don't know. I can't get off that point. I know I should. It just bothers the shit out of me when people just throw dirt at other people on a personal level like that. It fucking pisses me off. But anyway,
the thing real quick, like he talked about in the piece was, you know, Josh talking about like changing diapers and kind of like the personality stuff and like, you know, waking up. Like I enjoyed that. I guess Tyler, he got 28 minutes with Josh, but you know, some of the stuff was, you know, about like not winning and You know, I read it a couple days ago, so I have like dad brain a little bit, but it was a great piece, and I've said this before. I wish, during these stupid OTAs, which I fucking hate, when people are just trying to get Josh Allen handshakes and trying to pump up fucking Ed Oliver because he said he likes the defense, and I'm just like, go get some one-on-ones. Like, I don't know, I'm sorry, but I'd rather read a long form story on you doing a one-on-one with James Cook for 20 minutes than me having to see how great fucking the 5th round rookie looks in shorts.
But to be fair here, I know you're going to call me a panderer.
I am fair.
You're going to call me a panderer and a ball washer. I already know this ahead of time for saying this.
Yeah.
But to be
Here
fair,
we go.
there's a difference between being a feature writer and a long form writer and being a beat reporter. Beat reporter is supposed to give you the minute, boring, day-to-day details. That's what being on the beat is. Feature writers are the ones where you're going to deep dive into a really compelling James Cook background story or Josh Allen's perspective being changed because of a kid. Why, this and that. Beat reporting to me, and maybe you clearly don't agree, that's who took first team's reps, who looked good, who did this, what color shorts does Trent Sherfield have on today. That's kind of the minute, boring, day-to-day operations of being one.
Yeah, if this was 2003 when assignments were more clear, it's not anymore. It's not. I'm sorry, it's not. Everyone's a hybrid. Everyone's supposed to do multiple things. Okay. So don't give me the John Vogel, I'm supposed to just give recap this and call it a fucking day. It's not how it works. That's not how it works. You have to do both, okay? So all I'm saying is a vanilla reporter who is trying to get Josh Allen video of him fucking shaking hands with everyone can easily request a one-on-one with other players, whether it's a podcast. This is the time of year you're supposed to do this, okay? Because the Bills don't give a shit. They're just like, hey, we got people here, and
it's fair. Once the season starts, Josh Allen's not talking to Tyler Dunn for 30 minutes. I understand that.
And Dunn just, I'm pretty sure he just asked PR, can I talk to them? And you can't tell me 3 years ago, the Bills didn't give a shit about Tyler Dunn. They fucking ignored him. And then he did the manifesto on McDermott and he got their attention and now they give him access. I don't think it was Peter King coming to training camp and being like, oh, it's Peter King, we have to give him everyone. I'm sure it was just Tyler being like, can I talk to Josh Allen? And who knows if all these other people are asking. I have no idea. They should be, because if I was a fucking editor and that guy gets a one-on-one, I'm calling all everyone and being like, why is he getting a one-on-one and you're not? And you're giving me handshakes in the fucking OTA tent. I know you're like, oh, ball wash everyone. Oh, but that's what you're supposed to do, at this time frame. Because here's the thing, Pat. The problem is there is an abundance of the same people covering the same thing. Everyone's going to be covering the same angles. And after a while, you got to figure out how I'm going to not be the same, not go along with the crowd. And that's by asking for exclusives or doing different stories, And hey, who, I think it was Lance did a piece on John Fox. He interviewed John Fox. Good. That's a good piece. Even though I don't really care about John Fox all that much, but I'm sure people do. And it was fine. That's what you do. Not, I'm going to recap OTAs. I'm sorry. It's bullshit. And I know what you're going to say. Oh, that's their job. They're going to do that because they're the beat guys. See, this is what happens when you're second beer. And, now I'm starting to shoot and being like, shoot cowboy.
He's working himself into a shoot and he's drinking and the video is pretty brutal. But the audio is still tight, which is really all that I care about anyway. So we will trudge on. I got 2 random questions for you before we get to... I think some stuff, and I of all the people, I should have saved this for Matt Warren or literally anyone else except you, because we're going to discuss today some camp storylines that actually matter.
Oh,
and in your world, nothing
can't
matters.
Wait.
So
yes.
Again, this is just begging for trouble. This is like going into a bad neighborhood and starting some shit. It's it's not going to end well for you, but yet I have Joe on the podcast. And I'm going to actually talk to him about training camp storylines, which is, this ain't even going to be, when this turns into a train wreck, even more so than it is now, this ain't even Joe's fault. This is going to be my fault for for going this direction. I already know that, and I accept that. But before that, I do have two kind of random questions for you, all right? Number one,
Okay.
two topics, two random questions. I want you to power rank what sports, the four major sports, have the best playoffs from first to worst. And I do have to say one thing before you give me anything. We're recording this now. This drops on Tuesday. Game 3 is already going to have been played. So whatever happened, don't mention game 3. Who gives a shit about that? Just generally speaking, the playoffs. NBA, MLB, NFL, NHL. From worst to first, rank them for me. Power rank the four major sports playoffs for you.
Okay. It's hypocritical, but I'm going to say hockey's number one. But I don't really watch hockey playoffs, so that makes me kind of a hypocrite because I just don't. Like when the Sabres are gone. But I will respect and say it's definitely hockey playoffs are number one. Just the intensity, it's completely different. You put on a regular season game versus a playoff game, it's fucking different. Just is. Number two, I would say football probably. Look, it's one or you go home. That's it. Like there's no games. There's no game to the next day. It's one or go home. They always say like the divisional game is the best weekend of football. The divisional playoff, and like it's been great. It's football. Football's king. The quality I think is good. I mean, depends on the game. Look, Denver Bills every Bills freaking divisional game is like the game of the fucking year, sadly, and sometimes they win, sometimes they don't, or more times they lose, sadly. Number three, I would say, baseball's pretty good. Like I got into like the Blue Jays like little run last year a little bit.
That was a great World Series.
That was a great World Series. Like, and because every pitch is just like your fucking heart is pounding. It's nerve wracking. And then fourth is I mean, I like all of them, but basketball's fourth. I mean, the thing about basketball is you can just turn it on in the fourth quarter, and you feel like you didn't miss anything because it's just a sport that there's always runs. You know what I mean? Just run. It's like you cut the lead to 6, it's back to 12. Cut the lead to 6, it's back to 12. It's back to 4 now. Like it's a back and forth where you can like miss games. But
I agree.
Yeah, that's my order.
You,
what about you?
Exact same. Hockey, just the intensity. Football, it's elimination. It's win or go home. You have a bad day. That's it. That's a wrap. Your season's over. It's happened in the Bills. How many times now? Baseball, playoffs, intensity cranks. Every pitch feels like it means a little bit more in baseball. And basketball, look, I love basketball. I do. I've said it a million times on this show, on Twitter. I would trade the Sabres for an NBA franchise. I probably have said that 100 times throughout the years. Maybe not so much right now, though, because I've got that hockey bug back in me. But anyway, my whole point is this. You're right.
It's because you're pandering. You're pandering. Sure. You got to pander to the hockey.
NBA,
people.
Even in the playoffs, even in the NBA finals, doesn't mean nothing to the last 6-7 minutes of the fourth quarter. Doesn't matter. Knicks have got the first 2 games. The Knicks have played like shit early, and they've been in a big hole on the road. They've won. It just doesn't matter in basketball. 90% of the time, the games are decided in the last 5 minutes or so of the fourth quarter. All right, that was the one question I had. The other random one I had for you and for everyone else who's listening to the show. If you had the money and, your finances were endless and you could purchase and own any one organization in sports, you can own any team, one team, any sport. What team would that be and why?
I mean, it's the Bills.
Really?
I mean, it's my team. It's a team I cheer for. It's a team I care. I'm sorry. It's a very like boring answer, but
it is a boring answer.
But why would you think anything else? Like come on, dude. Like of course I would pick them. I mean, okay, look. I'm sorry that
a lot of pressure. Maybe if you don't deliver, the team that you love so much, the town that you grew up in, all these fans are gonna fucking hate you. You know Terry Bagula's birthday? Have you seen Terry Bagula birthday wishes on Twitter until this year? Like, happy birthday, Terry.
Well, whatever. I would tell them, don't wish me a fucking...
Joe, fuck him.
Okay, first off, if I was the owner, let me tell you what I would do if I was the owner. Are you ready for this? Like, this is the real segment. I would say, don't fucking post my birthday. No one gives a shit. I don't need it. Just fucking give me a cake. That's all I need. 2, we're going to have party in the plaza every week. We're gonna have a Hall of Fame. I'm gonna build a Bills Hall of Fame that's attached to a brewery next to the fucking Highmark Stadium, because that's what America needs. We need a brewery, a Wegmans, and a Hall of Fame in one. Like, I would build that as the new owner. If you're not, no one would boo me at all because of that. Okay, so that's number 2 that I'm gonna do. Number 3, I don't give a shit about the cap. I'm gonna be like, hey, fuck the cap, make it happen. Get AJ Brown, get everyone. You're all fired. Like, I would have been like a great Steinbrenner, but like the Italian Steinbrenner would have been great. What else would I would have done?
Would you run? Would you be the GM of your own team? Would you be Jerry Jones if you own the Bills? Would you be Jerry Jones? Would you be making the decisions? I like you're going to go trade for Jamar Chase. Fuck that! You're trading for him. What do you go get him? No,
I would. I don't think I would, but it's possible. It's possible. I mean, I don't know that I wouldn't be like the GM. I would probably say, look, I want the 7th round pick. I want to pick the 7th round pick. Like, that would be my contract. Like, I'm gonna pick the 7th rounder, and that's it. But okay, look, that's what I would prefer. Like, I'm a Bills fan. If you want me to pick another team that's outside of like, oh, I'm a huge fan of it.
Yeah, take the emotion away. Take the Bills out of it. Buffalo's disqualified. Let's make that the one rule.
Oh God,
you'd be a terrible owner too. But go ahead.
What are you talking about? I'd be great. I just invented a Wegmans Brewery Hall of Fame for the Bills. Are you fucking kidding me? That would make so much money. It would be great. I'm sorry, they don't have chicken. I'll have chicken fingers for you, okay, bro? With that being said, I would say the Lakers.
Lakers?
The Lakers. Yeah, because the Lakers are fun. Like, LA doesn't care about their sports teams all that much, but I could be out there chilling with Hollywood like celebrities and like hanging with Leo or Jessica Alba, probably, if I was single. All these people. I just be like, hey, what's up, Hollywood? Like,
definitely that would LA. I was thinking LA too. Lakers, Dodgers, one of those teams. Local Evening News in the live chat said one organization, WWE, based on their evaluation alone. That's fair, but I said sports. That would be fun though. If you could pick WWE, I'd like to own WWE. I'd be the most. You don't? So you wouldn't be too much of a hands-on owner. I'd be hands-on. I know I would be. I'm not. I'm a control freak. I don't think I could handle not being hands-on if I owned a team.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you definitely are a control freak. That goes.
I think we've reached the point where Joe's not even paying attention.
No, I am. You're just.
You're not even trying to pay attention.
Yeah. Why? Because see my phone in the video. I was just texting someone. Sorry. No, I am paying attention. You would say you would be a control freak.
Nate Gary does that shit all the time. By the way, anytime you see Nate on a podcast, not even just this one. Everyone, if you watch a podcast, watch Nate Gary. At some point, if it's a video, he's going to pick up his phone and start doing this shit like he's Adam Schefter. I'm telling you.
Okay, to go into the future, because we're recording this earlier, I had to post my Substack. So I was like, oh, let me post my Substack. I didn't want to wait any longer.
You post your Substack during the middle of our podcast?
Yes, I had to put the tags in, but I was listening. Unlike you, who stares at the comments, you're like, "What's Tooch saying?" Or you go on Twitter like, "What's Podfather saying? What's Bruce all?" By the way, when is Content Bro Summit gonna be? That hasn't been on the schedule. I mean, you're promoting everyone.
Tuesday, which is which by the way, that's gonna be a big weekend talking Buffalo. Yeah, next while we're recording it on Monday, it'll be next Tuesday. What's Tuesday? The 15th. I think it's the 15th. Bruce Nolan, Brett Thompson, Joe Marino, 6th annual Podcasters Roundtable.
You've done.
Where we talk about everything except the actual Bills. 6 years we've been doing it. This podcast is in year 9 now.
6 of these.
Yeah. Why are you laughing?
I can't believe you did 6 of these 6 of these content, bro. Because you've done 6 of these content ball washing summits where you guys are just gonna be like, "Oh, my podcast is so great. Oh no, yours is better. Oh, don't do this." They're all gonna, with all of them. No. I told you should get Chad Dominicis on, and like you gotta bump. Bruce All Lazy does like one pod. I do as many podcasts a week as Bruce All Lazy. Actually, this week I've done twice as many this week as he has. He should be bumped. bump all lazy out of here. You know, get
He doesn't do
Timo. How
video
about
either.
Timo Marino?
I
Maybe.
actually I love what Bruce Nolan brings to the conversation though, because
Hmm.
he doesn't care about video. He doesn't have video. He doesn't care about hashtags. He doesn't care about
We don't
SEO
even know the
words.
hell he
He
is.
doesn't care about
Okay.
titles. He doesn't care about keywords. He doesn't give a shit about any of that. He just talks Bills, and I love that. And he has a unique way of doing it. So that's where he brings the value. So while Joe's getting texts, we're going to take a quick commercial
Damn
break.
Texas. What are you
We're going to
talking
take
about?
a quick commercial break, come back on the other side, and we're going to talk about some Bills training camp storylines that matter. At least to me, they do anyway, right after this quick one. Boy, oh boy, is this podcast ever off the rails. Joe from Queens.
Bro, this is gonna be
with me
This is gonna be the #1 Tuesday show of all time.
of all time.
Number one, all time. I mean, you didn't promote my contest in on Monday's show because you suck. Because you're like, oh, that's too big of a promotion. I hope you win so I could throw peanuts at you. You know, if you do win, Pat, I'll let you stay on my couch for free. You just got to change some
Thank you
diapers,
so much.
and there you go. Yeah, and we'll go together. And get
I can play with Baxter.
And dude, that would be. Yeah, and then, dude, we'll come back and we'll record the Sunday podcast from my table. It'd be hilarious. It would be like it would be just the greatest.
I
of all
would be
time.
awful.
I'm praying you win.
You would leave the room, and I would try to do something, and my goal would be to make Andy cry real quick so that I could get a good photo of him and put it on Instagram. I still think that's the best thing in the world, Joe. Every time,
You know what?
folks, on his Facebook and Instagram, pretty much every time Andy has any kind of like little temper tantrum or something, that's Joe documents that, which I think is really cool.
On the video side, if you can go get Andy's soccer thing from that I posted about him touching the ball 3 times today, and you post it on here, I'll allow it to you. If you can get it right now.
I can't do it right now.
Oh, well, then you missed out.
I can't.
So Andy had we had soccer on Saturday, and you know, at the end of the class, they always do a penalty kick, and Andy touched the ball 3 times with his hands while trying to score on the penalty kick.
And then he didn't want to give you a high five either. I like that.
And then he did. No, he gave me one at the end. He gave me one when I put the hand out.
He mailed that one quick in. It was like a whatever.
He did. You know what? He's gonna be the future of American soccer. I'm gonna be like you and be a terrible dad and be like, you need to eat some steroids.
You should be yelling at it. I told you this. Yell at his ass.
God.
Start screaming at him scream at him like he's 14 years old. Do it when he's 2 or 3. That's the best time to get him.
You're the worst dad I've ever seen in my life. Worst dad. Anyways, go ahead.
Let's get into I got 6 things for Bills training camp that I actually do think are going to matter. And I think a few of these even you're going to have to admit that they do matter. Although the first one's not really a talking point, it's just a general statement, and that's health. Like last year's training camp was kind of there were some significant injuries to come out of camp last year, if you remember. Max Harrison got hurt. I mean, he ended up missing the first 6, 7 games, something like that. Taylor Rapp got hurt at camp, and he never fully recovered from that. And Terrell Bernard got hurt pretty good at camp, and again, he struggled and battled injuries all season long. Josh Palmer got hurt at camp, and he was barely 100% at any point of the year. So injuries were a pretty big factor for the Bills last year at camp. But I'm sure I'm forgetting about others too. You know what I should have done for this segment? I should have brought some makeup on here with me and a clown costume, and I should have wore it, and I should have painted clown makeup on my face because I feel like a clown right now having a training camp conversation with you, of all people, right now.
Dude, I'm gonna go into character. Look, I'm gonna be like a wrestler that has to sell this, even though they don't want to sell it. Like, I'm sure. Look, I was listening to LA Knight on Chris Van Vliet or whatever the fuck his name was, and he hated the maximum models gimmick, but he tried to sell it. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm going to sell it. But yes, all right,
you're right. Then injuries. I just again, it's not really
sure.
That matters. 31 other teams too. I just wanted to put that out there. Right. Injuries, being healthy at camp matters. And last year they weren't. That's why it's worth pointing out.
No, absolutely. Like, you want to be healthy. You don't want to fucking be injured, and I mean, that's the key. That's why you have to have, it's always that weird, do you want, sometimes you hear people say, you need to have tough camps because if you don't have tough camps, that's why these guys get hurt. You know what I mean? You hear that narrative about tough camp versus like low camp, of not doing all that much. But yes, injuries are a big part of it. I would ask you this just off the top of your head. Can you recall the last really bad preseason injury or camp injury? Can you recall like, oh man, this guy got hurt, and he was gone for X? Like, do you remember anyone? I'm trying to remember, like, I feel like it hasn't happened all that much. Where like, a guy of like Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs gets hurt in camp and they're out until like week 2 or week 3 or something like that.
From training
Like
camp.
Reggie. Yeah, like I'm trying, like Reggie Ragland. I mean, he doesn't count, but like I remember he blew out his leg like the first freaking his rookie year. He was gone. I'm sure if Ralph Wilson didn't pass out in the chat, yeah, Harrison, Kevin Cobb did. Yeah, Kevin Cobb's career ended. Like he hit a freaking mat and then he got hurt in the next game against Washington where he got a concussion.
Didn't he made it back for the finale last year? I think it was last year. Khalil Shakir hurt his ankle during the fucking scrimmage, the blue-white scrimmage at Highmark.
Okay.
He missed.
He made it back.
He made it back for week 1 of the season. He missed the rest of camp, but you're talking like significant major injury.
Yeah, like a major. I mean, someone mentioned Kevin Cobb, and like he's the one that he was supposed to be the starter in 2013.
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden he slipped on a freaking mat. And then I don't mean to laugh. And then he played like the second to last preseason game against Washington, and he got a concussion, and then his career was done, and that was it. Like I'm trying to think of it.
I can't think of. There's been lots of injuries.
Oh,
that maybe lingered, but nothing like no torn ACL or anything like that.
I will tell you one. You may not remember this. I'm sure you don't. 2000. That was when Flutie and Johnson were supposed to have a quarterback competition in training camp. And it was after Music City Miracle. Doug Flutie like tore his hamstring or pulled it really bad where he was out the first 4 weeks of the season. And like I remember seeing the footage. Like, it was a quarterback draw and he just went back and he went forward and he just pulled his hamstring. And he was out until like October of that year. And that made it, I remember thinking, everyone was saying, well, this is good for Rob Johnson because you can't be calling for Doug Flutie to come back in because the first month of the season he's out. So like that was like the one star player I can think of that just came off the top of my head. But that's it. But for the most part, they've been pretty good with like training, not avoiding. There has not been an ACL injury. I feel that someone like around this time, like, oh, fuck,
they've been fortunate to avoid season-altering type of injuries.
Sure.
I mean, Harrison was a big one last year. I mean, he's a first-round pick. But yeah, he got back during the season. And speaking of, that's kind of like the next topic for me, how the corners look at camp right now. Max Hairston, IGB, who they took in the second round. Some people, I'm not convinced, but there are a lot of people out there who think that that's going to become a training camp battle. That Max Harris is not a lock to be a starter. So you got that, the new corner, the nickel guy, D. Alford. How does he look? Who's going to be the nickel back or I mean the dime back, the rotation? Because it's new defensive coordinator, new look, new guys. That's actually going to. I don't know if it matters as much at camp. We have to wait till the season to see if it means anything, like you always say, but. I don't know. It's something that's worth watching at camp. If you're going to Rochester, which ain't going to be for as many days this year, folks, by the way, but if you're going to Rochester for camp, you're that's one of the things I think you would consider worth watching, right? The DBs?
Yeah, no, because look, we don't know. It's a completely different era for the defense. Maxwell Harrison's a guy that was drafted for Sean McDermott, or like, if you want to believe McDermott had a big say, and I'm not going to dismiss anyone who says that, it's a possibility. And I'll bring this up real quick. Mm-hmm. Do you remember how good Ronald Darby was? Like his first year here, he was awesome. Like he was really good. I think he finished third as rookie of the year. The next year he kind of struggled, and then the year after that, Sean McDermott comes in and he's like, you don't match my defense, and they fucking shipped him out of here. I'm not saying it's going to happen with Harrison, but, like, always consider that when it comes to new scheme and the predecessor, he doesn't fit the system. Because that shit did happen. And I'm not saying it's going to happen, but who knows if he's going to be starting or not. Because, like, I don't know. Like, we don't know what Jim Leonard's defense is going to really be. Like, it's a 3-4. I tend to believe it's going to be a little bit like an attacking Rex Ryan type defense. And the only reason I say that is because he played with Rex Ryan when Rex Ryan was the coach with the freaking Jets. And that's completely arbitrary than me pulling that out of my ass, to be honest with you. So I have no idea if he's going to match that system. So, but it happens. Like I said, Darby got kicked out of here fast because he did not match the system. And that was a guy who, again, 2 years earlier finished in the top 3 for Defensive Rookie of the Year. Just consider that.
No, for sure. And look, I don't care what they said. Corner was the biggest need or whatever Brandon Beane said after the draft. Not even that he's wrong. They didn't draft a corner in the second round with the other needs that they need. They know they needed an inside linebacker. Mm-hmm. They needed some other things. They didn't take a corner in the second round to not even be a thought about being a starter. I'm not saying he's going to start, but they didn't draft a guy that high for him to not even have an opportunity to be a starter. It might not happen right away, but Max Harrison, his leash might be shorter now than it was before the draft because of who they took in the second round. Like, his room for error might be less than what it would have been before.
I wish I would know. It's kind of annoying with Leonard. He was in Denver, but he wasn't the defensive coordinator. I didn't even know what he was there. You might remember. Was he the defensive backs coach, or was he just a special assistant? And I don't DB, yeah. So I wish I could figure out what. I mean, I should have done research, but I didn't. But what type of cornerbacks did Denver have? Like, did Denver have physical guys? Because that doesn't bode well for Harrison a little bit. He doesn't feel like a physical cornerback. Did he have fast guys? Because fast guy, that's what Maxwell Harrison is. He's a fast guy. So I think that's how you can maybe figure it out. But again, he wasn't there for like that long. So who knows? We'll see. But I agree. It's going to be interesting to see how that works. And nothing would shock me. Because again, I've seen this before where new regimes take over and the old guys are like, yeah, we're good. So
you know what I realized with this stupid app in real time? I was about to say, what the hell are you doing? You were retweeting this podcast out, but the title still says Best Buffalo Babyface Turns. Like, I think I forgot to change the title on the thumbnail. Whatever. I don't give a shit. I'm talking about for the people who are watching this. Most of the regulars are still with us anyway. And I suppose that doesn't really matter. I just found that really weird. But anyway, all right. Well, on the other side of the football, I think it's really interesting, and training camp is going to matter. And who takes control, if anyone takes control?
I wouldn't go that far where it's going to matter. Okay, so take it easy there. Okay, I'm working with you. I'm working with you, but don't say it. Don't attach me to that. But go.
Training camp might matter for wide receiver 3. All right, listen, you got Moore and you got Shakir, then you got Keon, you got Palmer, and you got Skylar Bell. Who's going to be that guy who gets the majority of the reps? That's going to be something that's certainly worth watching, and what we see in camp may matter. Who's taking those reps may matter. Just a wide receiver competition. And by the way, we don't even mention his name, and no one thinks about him. Don't dismiss completely Trent Sherfield. I know people just like to think of him as the guy who dropped 2 balls against the Chiefs. Bro, he plays special teams. He could block. Tyrell Shavers is going to be on IR to start the year. They don't have a guy who plays special teams. They don't have a receiver who blocks other than Keon if he plays. Are you stuck like that?
No, because I can't believe you just said Trent Sherfield.
Greatest image ever. Oh my God, I wish your computer would have froze because that would have been the best image ever. Anyway, I'm not going to just
get the fuck out of here with Trent. I will fucking walk across the street naked and we'll live stream that if Trent Sherfield is a fucking part of anything. He's not catching 5 balls this year. Get the fudge out.
I'm going to remember this. I'm not going to clip it, but I am absolutely going to remember this. Anyway,
Trent.
For the sake of you not having a heart attack, pretend I didn't say him. Keon, Bell, Josh Palmer. Fun, interesting. Potentially it matters.
Yeah, I mean, no, yeah, it will be interesting to see their look on who they do. I mean, you got to be cautious when it comes to like overstating rookies, especially guys that are like day 2 pick or day 3 picks, like Bell. I don't know what's going to happen with him. Like, he is the new regime. I mean, even though it's still it's still Joe Brady, and he was there last year. Well,
Yeah.
I don't. I'm not really counting him because he's just where he was drafted. Him being a rookie, I feel Palmer is the guy I kind of want to see. I think he fits the best on the outside, better than Coleman does.
I don't trust him. I'm almost out on Palmer. I don't think he's going to stay healthy. He's somebody over the last few months. I know how little you think OTAs are, and they probably are. You're probably right. The fact that he was still working with trainers, it bothers me. We're in June, and he's still working with trainers. It's like
So
that
is
was
that
a camp
Oliver.
preview. I know.
You're being this. You know what? Take a pill. You know, Podfather's not panicking. Like, take a pill. Okay, like it's still early.
I just don't trust him. He's got Curtis Samuel written all over him right now. He really does. I like Josh. I want to like Josh Palmer. I defended him a million times last year. I still think he's a pretty good talent. I simply don't think he's going to be healthy and available for this team. The injuries have him destined to be Curtis Samuel. So I am really hoping that Keon Coleman looks good, and I'm really hoping that Skylar Bell gets a lot of reps and work with, the guys who are actually going to play in real games, regular season games. I just don't trust Josh Palmer to stay healthy. I think I'm out on him.
Well, look, I don't trust any of the guys from 3 to 5. I don't trust Keon. I don't trust Palmer. I don't trust Bell. I definitely don't trust fucking Sherfield. You're already on the Sherfield bandwagon, you weirdo. Yeah, it's gonna be a clusterfuck. But also at the same time, let's remember this team plays a lot of 12, 13 personnel. So I don't want to say it's not going to matter that much who the third wide receiver is, but who knows how much that third wide receiver is going to see the field.
Sure.
So, go ahead.
Next one, offensive line. You got a new offensive line coach, Aaron Kromer. Aaron Kromer's out. He retired. And specifically left guard, Alec Anderson. You signed Austin Corbett, a pretty decent free agent who's started plenty. So who's going to be the starting left guard? What does the depth look like? Ryan Vandermark's gone. That's their swing tackle. Will it be Tyler Grable? Will it be that rookie they took, Bowery, in the 4th round? I think there's a lot of questions at offensive line, which it makes for an interest. But as a fan, offensive line is just not fun to watch. It's not fun to watch offensive line drills per se. But I do think if any of these, actually, I think if training camp's going to matter with any of these, it might be this position, actually. Because they're starting from scratch more.
I'm trying to think of there being a training camp where an offensive lineman came out of nowhere to start. You know what I mean? Like, if there's ever been, like, this guy out, like, the person you penciled in ended up losing the gig and someone else came in. But you're right. Like, I'd rather have I know they have, like, the 2 veterans they got, or the 1 veteran, excuse me. I feel like that's where I would go. But, we'll see what they do in terms of that. But, the line last year overall was, I don't want to say disappointment, but it wasn't as good as the year before. And part of that, you could say it was Josh Allen's fault holding the ball too long, or the wide receivers couldn't get open, which, of course, that has something to do with it. I feel like offensive line in general is one of those things. You just said it's not the sexiest thing to talk about, but it's also one of those things where you don't realize how bad it can get until it gets bad. And I do worry a little bit with the new scheme. I don't know how much the scheme will change, obviously, but a new offensive line coach, like, what's it going to be this year?
That's very fair to worry about the offensive line, even if you want to say that there wasn't no real dip last year. Going into this year, you lose David Edwards, who was solid and steady, not spectacular, but he was solid. And Alec Anderson has not been a long-term starter before. Who knows how Corbett looks? Again, you got a new offensive line coach. You have been incredibly blessed for, 3 years in a row now with offensive line injuries? The Bills have not had a major, to your point, offensive line injury in years. They haven't had to replace a left tackle or a right guard for 8 weeks or season-ending torn ACL or something like that. The depth has been tested a little bit, but it's not been tested a lot because the starters have played so many games. So sooner or later, it's going to happen where you have to overcome injuries and stuff like that. That could be concerning because the offensive line could be something that, this offense looks good on paper. It's the same offense as last year, plus you added DJ Moore. But if the offensive line doesn't play well, then you could be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, and I don't know if you heard me correctly, but I did think it had a drop off last year, the offensive line. So I'm curious if they're going to rebound in comparison to what they did 2 years ago. But it's definitely an issue, and we'll see what happens with the new guard in play. I'll say this. I always f up his name. It's Osiris Torrance. I still mess up his name, right? I got it right. Okay, I know there's an O there, and sometimes I go Cyrus O'Torrance, but yeah, Osiris Torrance. I shouldn't talk too much shit about the media because I'm terrible too. But like, I'm really curious to see how his season is because he's going into his contract year, and I think it's a big year for him. Like, does he want to get paid? Or like, obviously he does want to get paid, but I want to see if he's going to really take the next step where he's going to be like, hey, we can't get rid of this guy. You know what I mean? Because
I think this is going to be his last year in Buffalo.
It depends. I sorry to interrupt, Pat, but I don't know if I would say it's his last year because you want to keep that youth going. And right now, Spencer Brown's the only guy on that offensive line who's under contract, who is in his 20s. You know what I mean? Like, where everyone, like, Deion's older, McGovern's older. You kind of want to have, like, I always feel like a unit, like an offensive line, defensive line, secondary. You want, like, one or two really young guys there. And right now, they only have really just one. It's Spencer Brown and Torrance.
Dude's going to cost $25 million next year. I'm telling you right now. Someone's giving him $25 million. So I just think he's going to price himself out. There's another that he'll get.
Well, it does depend. I'm sorry, you're right. He could price himself out, but it also depends on what Deion Dawkins does. Because if Deion struggles, there goes his, and they cut him, there goes his salary. Do you see what I mean? Like, then he goes off the books. Then I was like, okay, who are we going to spend money on?
I know. I'm not saying you're not wrong. I'm just telling you that he's going to make a shitload of money. He's going to get one of those contracts that you're like, holy shit. Cyrus Torrance get that kind of money.
Yeah.
I can see it coming a mile away, and the Bills are in terrible cap shape as of right now for next year. So you got that. All right, defensive line real quick, too. We got to wrap this up. Defensive line at camp behind Oliver and Deion Walker. Again, not great players, but like guys that they drafted last year or the year before that, day 2 picks. TJ Sanders, Dwayne Carter, Landon Jackson, big beefy Landon Jackson. I know you've seen all the OTA videos and photos.
Oh,
he's looking
Goldberg.
Anyway,
Giant Goldberg.
Who's going to play? Yes. What the rotation is going to look like? Where they're lined up? Maybe more so, like if you're going to learn something new at camp this year, where's that Oliver actually lining up? Where's Deion Walker actually lining up? Where are these other guys lining up? And what kind of snap share does it look like these guys are going to get? Defensive line to me is one of the bigger unknowns right now on this.
Yeah, no, I mean, agree 100%. Like, I have no idea. I still don't even know who like the outside linebackers are supposed to be, or who's going to be like your traditional defensive end in the 3-4. And I don't even know. I don't think the media can tell you where people are lined up. If I remember correctly, the Bills. Maybe they're going to change it this year.
Oh,
the Bills have always been
fans. I could tweet in the stands where they're lining up.
Sure, you can. You're right. I mean, I guess. Oh God, I gotta follow you to fucking find this out. But yeah, it's usually the media can't say anything about it. But yeah, I do feel the defensive line rotation is going to be interesting to see what they run because I have no idea. None. I have no idea. So. Right. I think it will be a nice thing to look at.
One-on-one battle, linebacker. Dorian Williams against the rookie Caleb Elarmzor, 4th-round pick, who has looked at OTAs really good in shorts and a jersey. But anyway, he's actually been really vocal. He says, I want to be the week 1 starter as a rookie. He has said that. That's a quote directly from him. Meanwhile, Dorian Williams is... For whatever. I mean, it's OTAs. It's voluntary, but he's not been to any of them. I'm sure he's staying in shape and getting ready. I just personally found that a little interesting. Like, this is his contract year in a way for the Bills. It's his make or break year. This is his first real opportunity to be a starter with injury having nothing to do with it. Anyway, those two guys, like, offensive line, again, Corbett and Anderson's a real thing, but that's going to be kind of boring. Or versus Dorian Williams in the defense, watching linebackers play at camp could be interesting. And again, a positional battle to me that matters.
Yes, linebackers are one of those things I think always pops at training camp. Like, remember a couple years ago, Buffalo Joe had like the training camp of his lifetime. And I know there were podcasts saying like we should talk about him being a role guy on this team, and he has not. Aside from judging bikini contests in West Seneca, I think he hasn't done shit. So what? I mean, that's your area. Sorry, but I'm just saying, be careful because I know how that gets with the linebackers. Every camp, there's always a linebacker who does well. But again, I'm going to work with you because I'm taking the pinfall here over here. But no, I do think he has the rookie has a definitely shot to start. Like rookie linebackers have started in this league that are in like day 3 picks. Matt Milano was a day 3 pick, and he started right away. So,
sure. I think Moore's got a real chance to start.
Sure, and yeah, because it depends like who knows the system better. Obviously, Leonard has a say in that draft. Like he's in that fucking room when they draft. It will. I definitely want to see that. I also want to see how Bernard looks. I think people have. I mean, I hate saying people, but I've soured on Bernard a lot. I think you have too. You never were high on Bernard, then you were like you ate crow, and now you're back on he wasn't really great. But I think Bernard is one of those guys where it will be interesting to see if he looks. Again, I'm working here. If he looks better in camp, because like he's a guy that he didn't do much last year. I don't recall shit from him.
They clearly see him starting as of right now. Now, look, maybe they sign Shaq Thompson or someone else and that changes. But right now, Buffalo Joe's his competition. Buffalo Joe's not winning that job. Or versus Williams, one of those guys is going to be the weak side guy, or the off-ball weak side, whatever the hell you want to call it in this new defense.
Sure.
But now it doesn't really have competition. That doesn't mean you can't be right, though. How he looks matters because he's got to play well. I mean, again, he has to stay healthy. And he has to bounce back. This last one, I'll put them both together. I almost want to cover my eyes when I say this one to you right now. But
here we go.
Because even I have a hard time saying it matters. I'm not going to lie to you. 2-parter. Joe B loves it at least. Puntapalooza. You got Mitch Wisnowski. They drafted Tommy Domain Jr. So who wins the punting job? Interesting to watch. It may matter. And also, who's going to be the punt returner this year? They don't have a punt returner. Who's going to be that? Does it matter? Is it Keon Coleman? Does Mikael Hardman, who we also don't talk about, can he be that 5th or 6th receiver who has returned punts before? Is he the punt returner? Is it going to be some undrafted free agent that we don't even know about right now? Is that dude going to be a punt returner? All kinds of possibilities here. I'm intrigued. It may matter or no.
No, it might. I mean, I'm not talking about the punters. Sorry, I'm going into business for myself. There, no punter talk for me. I think I want to see Maxwell Harrison as a punt returner. He's fast. I want to see if he can do anything. Like I'm always of the mindset of a punt returner should be like a fast guy, and he might be he might be like the fastest guy on this team. And I'd like to see how it feels like always a punt returner ends up being like a cornerback. It's either a cornerback, a wide receiver. That tends to be like the guy. And I think he would be great. Like he's fast as hell. Why not? I mean, I don't know if they thought about it. I mean, I've thought about it a bunch of times, but I'm not into Shakir being the punt returner.
I hate that solution. He's a punt catcher.
Yeah,
he's not
me
even
too.
A returner.
Yeah. But also he's your number 1 wide receiver or 1A, 1B, whatever you want to call it. Like, get a backup in there, please. Unless he's Deion Sanders, where he's like, okay, this guy can change the fucking game. Like, no, like get a shitty backup, whatever. Someone else. I mean, I'm crapping on Harrison a little bit, but like, no, like Harrison, I want to see. Coleman, I can't see Coleman as a returner. He
was though. He's had some experience doing it.
Where?
Max Harris has never been the primary. He had a little bit of punt return experience at Kentucky, but he was never the primary guy. Plus, he's kind of a starter. I mean, it's like the biggest reason why I don't want Shakir being a punt returner is I don't want to take a chance of him getting hurt. I don't want Harrison to get hurt either as a punt returner. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
but you also have to say, what is that exactly? Like, I don't think of I don't think of the NFL these days as like, oh my God, special teams are gonna die. It's just there's not the same hitting as it was when we were younger. Where like Devin Hester would Dante Hall was like the best returner I ever saw. And his career ended like 7 years in. But it was a different era. And I feel like you can avoid that injury thing a little bit. But I hear what you're saying. One person in the chat mentioned this, and I really would love to see Tyler Bass. That's a big fucking deal. Because, like, I have said this before. It was Skin to Win talked about Tyler Bass. If there's something where if you really want to tell me, like, training camp matters, it's kicking. Because there's no way to fake it.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're kicking the fucking football. Like, and he was not good last preseason, and then he got hurt, and all this shit happened, and then then he got in that
He missed the
injury
whole
or whatever.
season. He didn't kick last year.
That
The
actually,
regular
you know what? I'm an idiot. We were talking about before, like what were the season ending injuries for preseason? He's the guy. Like he got hurt in the preseason and he was done.
Well, he got hurt at camp. He didn't even get to the preseason.
Yeah.
He came back for one preseason game. He kicked in the preseason and he got hurt again.
Yeah.
Re-aggravated it and missed the whole season.
I think, I hate to say this, but that might be the biggest subplot of training camp where you can actually have realism there. Because this guy.
What does it say, though, that they don't even have another? They got 90 guys on the roster, and a second kicker's not one of them. Well, maybe they're going to add one. I would think they're going to add one because if nothing else, you want to give him some rest, right? You don't want him being out there kicking for every drill that they do at practice.
Well, Pat, if you remember, Prater came out. They signed Prater before the season started. He wasn't on the roster. I don't think he was. Am I wrong? I don't think he was kicking during preseason. I think it was like someone else. Like I don't remember. But I am curious to see how he does because he was not, 2024. Yeah, that's what that it was. He was not great. He picked it up at the end, and then last year he was out for the whole freaking year. That I think I hate to say it, but if you tell me I want you to write me the 10 biggest storylines of training camp real, like I'm not gonna bullshit. I'm gonna say like, okay, 9 of these 10 are fake. Mm-hmm. The real one is Tyler Bass. That I think because that's when you can tell if someone's out because it's kicking the fucking football. It doesn't matter if you have like 11 idiots like trying to rush the kicker.
Yeah,
it's like whatever. Like that's a big thing. I think.
I'll give Diving Pickle as an interesting comment, and he's taking a dig at me along the way, which is funny. But I'm going to put it up and read it because it's actually when I have Matt Warren on next, which won't be this week. Because I got Cammy Clooney and Thad Brown back to back, but it'll be on next week. Anyway, our topic is going to be about individuals that we're really going to be locked in the most in on camp. And for me, Michael Hoyt is near the top. And Diving Pickle said, I'm surprised Pat hasn't ball washed Hoyt, a career role player whose contract and career reflects that. Yet the guy is pumped up by the media and Bills fans like he is some sort of all-pro. How he looks at camp, I will be very much paying attention to. Brandon Beane talked about him today on Sunday, by the way. Talked about Hoyt and said that he could be ready to go for the first day of camp. He might need a rest day here and there or half a day, things like that. But they're expecting Michael Hoyt to be good to go for training camp. So there is that. By the way, we didn't talk about, we've done 2 podcast episodes back to back here in one video. I don't think we talked about the biggest talking point of the entire weekend or either of these shows. Dalton Kincaid is your 2026 Greg Rizzo Softball Charity Tournament Challenge Home Run Derby winner. The great Dalton Kincaid wins the Home Run Derby. I don't know if the offense or defense won the game, by the way. Doesn't that excite you? He's all the way back. He's good to go. He's healthy. Dalton Kincaid is smashing home runs. He's winning home run derbies. I think he's going to have a breakout year based on what I saw at the home run derby here in Rochester on Sunday. I'm going to I am going to freeze that. I'm going to put it over. I'm going to put it over. So the next time you're lagging on screen, I could
I
have
love
a template where I could just
freezing
put
my.
that, and it'll just be stuck like that the whole time. And oh my god,
I'm
yes, you
purposely
gave me a
try,
great idea.
but no, but I'm purposely freezing myself so you're freaked out that oh my god, Joe
I could tell you
froze.
this time you were
Uh,
fucking with me. I already knew it.
yeah, no, I'm fucking with you, but yeah,
Well, the funny
I'm
thing is you're
very
lagging
excited
for
for the home
real.
run.
So, but that's the funny part is you are lagging for real. But
But if you watch it live, it doesn't lag. That's the funny thing. At least I might be wrong. Skinton Win thought I was frozen. That's funny. Maybe he didn't, but who knows? Yes, I'm very excited because he won the home run derby at Greg Rousseau's Sal Capaccio home run derby or whatever. What happened to Micah Hyde? So he's not doing it anymore. He's like it's
because of
only
it
like
was a contractual thing. Like he can't host
oh
it. Like he didn't play either. I think he emceed it along with Sal. He was there signing
okay.
autographs. They were like calling, with the microphone for the crowd. They were like emceeing the event, but he didn't participate. He didn't play in it.
Mhm.
Anyway, all right, we're gonna get out of here in a minute. Is there anything you wanna hit
Yeah, you
on,
know
or
what?
you wanna say? We got about 3 minutes left here.
I'm gonna plug my Substack for Tuesday. So, because why not? Yes, I didn't plug it well because my wife distracted me on the end of episode 1 of this week. But yeah, my Substack, I talk about the envious of being a Bills fan in Knicks territory. I also talk about you kind of gave me this idea. I talked about pride in sports for June. I'm sure you don't want to hear me talk more about it on here, and I won't. I talk about Lindy Ruff getting he got boned badly for the coach of the year. I also talk about WGR, and like I've heard through the grapevine, and I wouldn't say this is like breaking news, but they're still trying to figure out what they're going to do from 10 to 3 o'clock every day, and they're definitely going national is not out of the picture of them getting like Jim Rome or whoever, like a national, syndicated show from that 10 to 3 slot. They have not ruled that out yet. And I blog a little bit about that and the history of that spot. I talk about my garden that me and Andy have planted together. Our vegetable garden. Do you have you ever planted vegetables ever? I know you've never ate a vegetable in your life.
I don't eat vegetables. You think I'm making vegetable gardens, man?
I don't know, bro. You can. Hey, shout out to Kevin Snow. He's in the chat. I saw him.
Yeah,
He's the man.
He said solid read. He already read your
Dude. He's
your
the man. Look, you should have him on the show.
Well,
I don't know.
he was focused on putting that out while we were doing a podcast. I'll point that out.
Well, I'm just saying you should have him on the podcast.
I'd love to have
You need
Kevin
more
on.
guests. I mean, you've had like you don't need woke Rich Warren in the 7th. Get him on here. He has podcast experience. He does one with Sylvester Sly. That's what I call Kevin Sylvester Sly. But anyways, but yeah, it's a great read. And again, everyone, you can, if you're a subscriber, you're eligible to sit next to me for a Bills Jets game, and you get a tailgate and a bus ride there. There he goes. Look at that graphic that AI made, and I probably destroyed a fucking river somewhere, sadly. With how bad it is, but I fall into that trap. We all do. It's like the porn of the world right now. We're like, you don't want to watch it; it's bad for you. But hey, it's easy to do. But yes,
I feel like I told you many times. I enjoy your Substack. I really do enjoy reading. I genuinely do.
Oh,
I just
oh
wish,
yes, I'm getting ball washed.
I wish in your dad shots that you would have more non-sports everyday life things, takes on TV shit, takes on food, takes on parenting, takes on marriage, takes on everyday thing like that where I'm not going to beyond sports, dad shots as you call them. Right?
Sure. There's dad shots. Yes. There is definitely a couple of Andy stories in there. I have to be careful about the wife stuff because she does read the Substack. So it's just, I got to be careful about that. There will definitely be more coming up soon about dad stuff. I can't say anything on the podcast, but there will be more dad stuff. But yeah, I enjoy the dad stuff. I forgot to tell you this. I had a segment kind of planned out. My stat head of the week was Greg Rousseau, where he ranked for sacks, pressures, quarterback hits, and batted passes since 2021 when he came into the league. And I was kind of shocked where he ranked. I thought it was pretty solid. Like the sacks aren't great, but the other stuff was pretty solid. I'll leave it at that. I was gonna ask you to guess what they were,
I'm not
but I
going to guess.
forgot. Yeah, I forgot.
I'm not
That was
a pretty good job of throwing a little bit of a teaser out there to get people to actually look. Which, by the way, again on the audio side, because Joe's actually going to not interrupt me this time, so I could say that it's joefromqueens.substack.com. Go check out his weekly column, which has been out since yesterday, Monday, on the audio side. All right, let's put a bow in this. Let's put a pin on this. We've been shooting video now for 2 hours and 20 minutes. Big shout out, by the way, to a lot of people in the live chat. Again, this is a very, Facebook's open. This is a very long and a very dead time of year. So we really have to reach to come up with shit to talk about. So you guys who are popping in, man, that shit's really cool. This is going to change soon, though. I mean, you got the NHL draft. You got NHL free agency. Everything's on the table for the Sabres.
Don't even call me for that. By the way, am I taking off for August? Because I know you. Did I take off for August last year? Because I remember I was like talking shit, like, "Yo, I'm taking off. Like, there's no way you want me on camp stuff."
You're not. I'm going to cut you from camp during camp. I'm going to I'll get people who are there because we're going to be talking about things that are going on. But anyway, training camp comes and. Football's back and things will change. We'll have plenty to talk about. But anyway, all right, let's.
I can't wait. You get to go there with Podfather and Miller Lite and all those guys. Oh, you're going to be at the camp and taking videos. Look, now I'm going into business for myself because I had to pretend I cared about camp before. Yeah, but you're going to go all over the place and taking photos and selfies with everyone.
I talked to Podfather Sunday. And the last 2 years, and he's doing it again this year, he comes into Buffalo for a half a week. He goes to cover camp, and he does a live show or whatever in Rochester. But he's going to be doing a live show here on Talking Buffalo it's the third straight year. So, yeah, we did Imperial Pizza 2 years ago. We did Sunny Reds last year. I think we're going to come up with somewhere new to do this year. But that ends up being one of the best shows of the year. I mean, the people that come out to see him it's crazy, man. The live shows I do, a lot of people come out to see him. Anyway.
It's why he's the Podfather. Are you going to ask him if he's a horny fan, or are you going to ask him if he's an expat fan?
I'm not going to ask him either of those things. Anyway, all right. Got to get out of here. Thank you, Joe from Queens. Thank you, everybody in the live chat who's stuck around for the entirety of these recordings. Again, if you're in South Buffalo, Tuesday night, Cammy Clune will be with me, live podcast at 8 p.m. If you can't make that, tune in on our YouTube channel and all my socials, and you can check that out. If not, check her out on the show tomorrow. Talk to you guys then.